Our next match has Kwangdong Freecs against North America's Sentinels. This week, a very strong Burium knocked Kwangdong Freecs to the losers bracket, and Sentinels failed to get redemption in the win versus a redemption win against Liberty. The big question is there hope for NA, Riku?
Oh, it's looking pretty grim for me from year 0. I look back at year 0 and now I'm sorry, Degon and TJ, I really am.
But he'd say Sentinels this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sentinels look really good regionally.
That is true.
And they've got these really organized team fights.
That is true?
They
okay.
do.
And I've got a really good vibe.
the vibe.
I've got a really good kind of energy in the room, I think.
Ah, there you go. That's the argument. He's convincing me.
Yeah, he's convincing that NA is going to win with good vibes against Kwangdong Freecs, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well, Riku, like, what is your thoughts here? How do Kwangdong Freecs stack up against Sentinels if we flip it the other way?
Okay, here's the thing, right? Korea as a region, incredibly strong, but there is a but. And I feel like that is where Sentinels can lean in. There is a but.
There is a but.
There is a very big but here in this draft. We're looking at the draft right now, and I feel like when we talk about draft, Kwangdong Freecs didn't impress me too much about their draft because it felt like they were doing too many things at the same time. It felt like, yeah, big team fight. Maru was an amazing Akali player, but I felt like the Xayah, the Yuumi, the Yasuo didn't fit well. And that's the avenue that Sentinels can take, and which is, okay, Kwangdong Freecs doing too many things at the same time, then perhaps this is our avenue to draft something that's more clean, that's more straightforward.
We've converted Riku. She's joining us.
All right, yeah. Also, to be fair, in that game number 1, it did take What the Jest to 1v4 at the Baron on Thresh to buy enough time to allow them to come back. That did happen.
I will kind of say both sides of this. Yes, KDF and I think more broadly Korea has looked a little weak right now. Their drafts seem a little out of meta, and they're not doing what they do best. Bad news is, what KDF do best is team fight. They are the best team fighting team in Korea. We just talked about how Sentinel's big secret weapon is their hyper-organized team fights. What do you do when your hyper-organized team fight is playing into a team that is the best at team fighting in Korea? It's kind of a bad look.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Split them up. Split them up, basically, and not engage in team fights. Win the skirmishes, and then dismantle them because you are ahead in gold. That's what you do.
All right, here we go. The final series of the day. The final time we will send someone home in our day number 3. Will it be Kwangdong Freecs of the WCK of Korea? Will it be North America's Sentinels?
I don't like elimination day anymore.
Oh, I'm laughing very hard because I'm very nervous. Lucian is the first ban here away by Kwangdong Freecs.
Obviously, a bit of a biased desk, but biased more than anything else in favor of good Wild Rift. And so honestly, genuinely, if KDF can draft themselves a good team fighting comp here and deliver on it, yeah, I'll be sad that Sentinels are out, but I'll be more excited because that's a serious threat to Burium. That's a serious threat to the rest of our bracket. KDF underperformed in their first look here at this tournament, and if they step up and reclaim the form that they had regionally, that they showed against Rolster, they're a contender against those WRL teams we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's just really scary, right? If KDF says, like, oh, hey, the things that we drafted last time didn't work out, we're going back to basics. We're going back to the things that worked in the WCK.
And I will note, Lucian gone, Camille gone. Immediately, first of all, demonstrating they've done their homework with the Camille ban, one of MTS's favorite characters. And second of all, demonstrating that they're not interested in playing Lucian anymore. It feels like everyone at the tournament has tried it. The vibes are off. Nobody's having a good time. Lucian not in play.
Yeah, it feels like Lucian is a trap now. So now the Sentinels ban the Yuumi because the Yuumi has been the go-to of Kwangdong Freecs. That could be a first Yuumi ban on blue side. Yuumi pick, rather.
And Sentinels doing their homework multiple times here because, yes, they let Yuumi through, but they ban out the Ribbon, they ban out the Kha'Zix, characters that Korea likes, and more specifically, KDF likes. Because so much of the way Kwangdong Freecs play the map is through the top side. It's through Maru, it's through Zeki. Terra in the mid lane is going to be a more passive mid laner. That's why you get him the Singed right off the bat. Give Chariot the tools to slow down the map, play safe, play for the late game.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Sentinels going straight forward here with the Shen and the Olaf. You absolutely know what they're going to do. Press Ragnarok, Shen goes in. There's also the potential of a 1-3-1, depending on what their top laner. This could even be support, actually.
Yeah, I do want to see this in MTS's hands. MTS very, very good at understanding the map globally. One of the most experienced players in the world at mobile esports. He's played in China, he's played in Korea. Fun fact, in Korea, he played versus North. He played versus Maru in a different title over the course of several years. He didn't play in the 2020 season because of the coronavirus outbreak. So instead he stayed home, joined Sentinels, started playing Wild Rift. And because of that, they now get to face here. So they're ready for him. They're giving MTS the agency, trusting him to get across the map and back up the team.
And that's what's exciting about a Shen pick, right? You've got a free teleport, you can make cross-map movements immediately, even set up for a dual lane, a bot lane kill, a 4-man gank, a 4-man dive rather, and it works so well. Honestly though, I feel like they're gonna be having a hard time because of the Ziggs being picked up in here.
Yeah, this is a very classic Korean frontline.
Yep.
You've got the Jax power farming in the jungle, going to get very big in the late game, and the combination of Jax Singed is a really good frontline. It's very difficult to engage onto that, to get past the Singed, because if you do, you're just standing on goo. If you do, you're just standing in the counter-strike getting stunned. So you have that set frontline, and then you give Acrobat, who's one of the best ranged carry players in the game, a Ziggs to just bombard from in behind.
Exactly, right. And Sentinel's response is, you know what? What is the answer against the Jax? We need more range so that he can't go near, and I like this from Sentinels.
And do you know who the best Lux AD player in the world is?
Tell me!
Neither do I, but Rest is pretty good. Rest was so good with it during the WNS that it was permabanned against him in the finals, so he's going to put in a good word with this, play very aggressive early. This is the kind of lane that is being tried out to try and punish someone like Acrobat. Problem is, Acrobat isn't just one of these classic passive players. He's one of the players that invented this style. He was one of the first players in the world to be playing Varus Ziggs as far back as they all do now.
I will say, though, if there was a major underperformer in the first series by a Freak of Freaks, it was Acrobat. Multiple times stepping up way too far and getting caught out in random skirmishes. So, if he's on his game, then yes, I agree. But if he still has some of those lingering...
Still clinging to those straws.
Still clinging.
I mean, so far it looks really good for Sentinels, right? They're getting everything. Look at this
Yeah.
Galio. I love this Galio so much because when the Olaf rushes in, boom, you've got that heroic entrance.
And it's also one of Beginnings' favorite picks. He's incredible on the Galio. He's an incredibly aggressive support. This, again, gives them a bottom side of the map. This Lux will be played by Rest, this Galio by Beginnings, and they're going to go very aggressive early. The problem is, as we're talking about Sentinels getting everything they want, so are KDF, which is a problem for Sentinels, but it's a good thing for us viewing the game, because this is going to be incredible. Both these teams getting their ideal drafts as Maru gets one of his favorite characters as well.
Oh my god, this is absolutely scary, right? But I think the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel for me is that KDF's composition works so well only towards late game. It's the complete opposite for Sentinels so far, unless they pivot something that can match. Never mind, there's more pokes, more range. That's what you like to see.
The light at the end of the tunnel is an oncoming train. That is KDF trying to reach the late game. You broke me, T-God. Trying to reach the late game and deliver a death blow. If Sentinels want to avoid that, they need to build a lead early, and I think it comes from their much beleaguered bottom lane. I think it comes from Rest and Beginnings starting fights early.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this, right? This early game 5v5, you can contest dragons early, first 2 dragons, get gold, win early, win the game.
Prediction time.
Oh, I don't want to do this.
Doing it.
Kwangdong Freecs.
What?
I'm sorry, guys.
DJ, put it on the record.
So, when I predicted Sentinels during the WNS finals, they were the only things I got wrong, so I feel like maybe I'm cursing them. And so I predicted KDF, and I'm sorry, Sentinels, I'm sorry, North American fans, but I had to do it, and now we're here.
There it is, y'all. NA, I'm with you all the way. Here we go, Sentinels. Coach Pierce putting together a draft that I like. Rafa, do you like that one
I'm
too?
sorry, Mark.
Game number 1 of the final elimination underway.
How could you doubt Sentinels at this time? But I understand. If TJ thinks that he's caster cursing Sentinels, then I don't want him voting for Sentinels. I want him voting for the team opposite. And I know I'm showing a little bit of bias, but it is so hard not to. Of course, I'm going to be happy with whoever demonstrates the best Wild Rift in our final series of the day.
I love the passion that you guys have for your teams. I can't relate because my teams are just cracked and they just win anyway, but still.
Most of them are already into the play-in
Just
stage.
one, but still.
You're still waiting on RRQ.
Yeah. Well, these drafts are definitely something to look at right now. Des touched upon it. It's going to be two very differing identities here. KDF, they've got the late game. They've got the double split push 1-3-1 options. On the side of Sentinels, though, it's the Olaf show.
And this Olaf pick is something that we haven't really seen from most teams in Icon so far.
Yeah.
But we have seen a couple of Olaf-centered compositions really sail with flying colors here.
And it's really odd to me because Olaf was such a big pick in most of the regionals as well. I'm surprised how low prio he's been.
Yeah, over time, I think people just got used to playing around the Olaf, and Olaf really only thrives when there's a ton of CC. Level 2 from Kwangdong Freecs, beginnings answering back, beautiful taunt, but it is the light binding that almost takes out Noth.
The light binding keeps Noth from killing beginnings as well. I think if you went for the phase break of Flash there, might have been a kill, but such an intense bot lane so far. We saw this exact Lux Galio combo get played by the WRL teams as a kill lane. But right now, KDF, Acrobat, and Noth, they're slightly winning out on trades.
You know, the funny thing is, you say from the WRL, but for Sentinels, for any NA fans that have woken up to finally see their lone team in the play-in stage, they played this to great success during the WNS Regional Championships.
Yeah, and I feel like Lux has been one of the sleeper picks in the meta as well. She's so strong, she provides so much.
Oh, taunt on to Maru, but he flashes away from the Justice Punch.
But that's big, you burn the flash of Maru, and now he has to play safer. The Fiora timer gets stalled, and that's really the name of the game right now, isn't it? Sentinels, they're playing against a ticking time bomb in the form of this Fiora, in the form of this Jax, and any second, any minute you delay that time bomb, it's gonna be a win.
A general pattern that we have seen throughout all the teams here in Icon's play-in stage. You can see how much of the WRL influence has had, mainly through the support play. So many times in the first opening games from the teams in the West, we didn't have early support roam timers. Now, after the first play-in stage, every single support from the West has made an early roam timer, either to the Baron lane or the mid lane.
And now beginnings, he's only roaming. He's done with lane. He's just roaming to try to shut down Maru, try to stall that timer we talked about.
The lane is a little too far shoved away from him, and he doesn't have flash to connect the Justice Punch. It would take MTS playing the juiciest hook, line, and sinker bait combo, but Maru's not going to go for it.
Yeah, and this is pretty bad here because it hurts MTS. This leeching of experience is going to keep MTS a little bit behind Maru. Maru's going to get more EXP, he's going to hit level breakpoints faster. And even though MTS now has the Stand United, it's going to make it a little bit hard for him to hold down Maru as the game progresses.
Sentinels here. Eyes are on Tybe though. This is the big change, the Olaf pick. Even though we know that Rest and Beginnings are on comfort and going back to things that made them successful in their run that landed them as the number 2 seed from NA going into Icons. Tybe is the other factor here as well. This is a sub for Sentinels. This is not the starting jungler. Sheesh could not make it due to travel complications, but Tybe coming in, and for longtime NA fans knows how much praise the region has given this jungler.
And you can see as well in how Sentinels adapted their draft for this game. They drafted around their substitute. They drafted around a new player to their roster. They have faith in him to come out huge and carry the game.
I think it's just overall the community reaction to Tybe. This man is known for so many objective steals in the WNS, far more than any other jungler in NA. And he has been able to pull out clutch plays. Will he lead his team to victory here? The smite comes out.
I think Tybe gets it. Oh no, Zeki got it, unfortunately.
It was Zeki's smite over to him. Sentinels not winning out on the crab fight here, but still playing for the mid game.
Yeah, every little bit of a lead that Jax can get, that Fiora can get, every bit of gold that goes into their pockets, it's gonna be so good for Kwangdong Freecs here. Sentinels, it's not like they don't have scaling, right? They have a lot of shielding, they got the Lux, they got the Cocky. But KDF, they have two of the best scaling champions in the game, bar none.
Jax Fiora.
Yeah.
And they even add the Ziggs on top of it
Yeah,
as well.
true.
You cannot sleep on the Ziggs late game, which is why Sentinels wanted to match the Ziggs for the Lux here.
Yeah.
We know that Lux, the later the game goes on, those final sparks can be super deadly, and with it being on such a low cooldown.
And North as well, this set is so instrumental in the team fights of KDF because you look at Sentinels comp, there's 3 targets for him to power drive back to their own team. MTS and Beginnings are going to be the big ones, of course, but if Type doesn't have the Ragnarok, could be him as well.
Package available from Molly.
Just
Sentinels immediately booking it for the Infernal Dragon, and RNG favoring them a little bit here,
Yeah.
knowing that they are a late game favorite composition here. If they are able to take this dragon away, which Kwangdong Freecs opting into the Rift Herald, wanting for the early snowball of gold in their pockets here. And Sentinels taking this trade means that they're going to have to bite down and hold on as Kwangdong look to inevitably start taking down turrets.
I think KDF are going to be pretty happy with this trade. Look at the champions that they have, Jax and Fiora. Uh-oh.
Oh, final spark.
Zeki.
Gets a little bit of burst damage, pairing up with Beginnings and the heroic entrance. Zeki is forced to flash away.
Pretty sure Beginnings had to commit the flash there, but he felt like the Justice Punch would hit. I feel like if you want to go for a play like that, you got to commit everything. Get that kill there. Slow down the tempo of Zeki. He's already a little bit ahead of Gold, ahead of Type, and that's going to be very effective for this Jax. He still has the Rift Herald. That's going to be a lot more Gold going over to him as well. And Sentinels, they burn the flash of the Jax, but I can't help but feel like they want more here.
Sentinels, a lot of global power on this composition. We didn't touch on it a lot before, but the fact that you have things like this Galio, the Shen, both champions that can join almost across the map entirely when you need reinforcements at a moment's notice. Even the final spark as well. Some of the biggest things about Sentinels that we have praised them in the NA4 is their planning. Maybe they don't have necessarily the best mechanical players compared to some of the players on Immortals, but they have some of the best strategical decision making, and with tools accessible in these global powers. Anytime the Kwangdong Freecs want to look for a play like that, you can save them, you can bail them out.
They definitely have the tools on the side of Sentinels, but it really comes down to what you said. Strategic planning, making these decisions on the fly. Their comp can fight against KDF in the mid game. It can kind of deal with it in the late game as well. It's going to be hard, but it's not impossible. But it really comes down to how well you make these snap decisions on the fly. And you see both teams, they recognize that Maru is one of the big win conditions. Both supports spending a lot of time up here.
Yeah, big challenge for Kwangdong Freecs is dropping that series against Buriram United.
Yeah.
A team that, you know, maybe they thought that they were very favored, at least the #2 Korea seed versus the 4th seed from Southeast Asia. You would have thought, as a Korean fan, that one would have been in your favor. MTS, a lot of damage. Grand Challenge has been popped, but he flashes away. Beginnings is here to deter any further action. MTS almost burns down for first blood, but he gets out.
Noff wasn't able to find the angle on the set out to met MTSS the taunt. He's able to get out of that one by good read there from Acrobat. Look at Noff now, though. He's in a great position to cut them off. Herald is used. They want to commit to a play, but MTS, he can come right back. He has Stand United here.
In the words of TJ, that's a WCK Herald if I've ever seen one, Rafa.
That's definitely a WCK Herald, and that's definitely an impression of TJ, all right? It does chunk down the mid turret, but they're going to need a little bit more chunking before they can take it down with the Central Charge.
Demolish available for... Oh my goodness, that was a flash from Type, ready to jump and pounce onto the members of Kwangdong Freecs, but they're like, whoa, bro, it's not that deep. It's not that serious.
That's one of the problems of Olaf against champions like Fiora, against champions like Jax. You really just want to try to run them down, but if they have their mobility spells up, it can be oh so difficult here.
Almost 9 minutes into the game, Omo, and would you believe it that we have not had a first blood from either of these teams?
Yeah, I believe it. It's a WCK. I definitely believe it.
Yeah,
Rafa.
but it's Sentinels too. I would
Yeah, well.
I would have imagined that Sentinels would have been slightly more proactive, and this is definitely playing into the hands of Kwangdong Freecs.
Well, they've definitely tried, right? Especially Beginnings tried to make plays towards the top side of the map, tried to shut down Maru, but like you said, this does play right into the hands of the KDF in terms of how, one, they like to play as a team, and two, how their comp would want to play. The longer the game goes on without any kills in an even game state, the happier KDF are gonna be.
And a big outline for Kwangdong Freecs, known as the best team fighting team, one of the best team
By
fighting
TJ.
teams. By you know, by TJ. I give a lot of credit over to
Yeah.
TJ. Put a lot of stock into his words.
Well, let's see how this team fight's gonna play out, Rafa.
They're already burning down the Rift Herald. Sentinels can't get into the pit right now. Rift Herald is secured.
Oh,
Time
no,
pops the
no
Ragnarok.
ulti.
He's got the Stand United. He's bringing Molly in for the ride. And there's the heroic entrance. It is caught off Acrobat. That is first blood for Sentinels.
Mistake from Acrobat. He gets knocked right back into the team of Sentinels by the package from Molly there. Didn't use his flash, and he has to pay the price for it. That's going to be KDF picking up the Rift Herald, though. No Dragon yet for 25 seconds. No package for that one. I want to see if KDF up to fight here.
Oh,
or
and
do they
look,
want to wait a
look
while
at the
more?
position right here. Wait, Sentinels might have a chance to just get first brick.
Yeah, they
Kwangdong
will.
Freecs, they're slow to the rotation. They have the Rift Herald. They could have easily slammed it down in the mid lane and
Yeah.
looked for first brick, but Sentinels actually catch them by surprise.
This is a very nice rotation coming in from Sentinels here. That gets them a little bit more gold. That gets them access to this Dragon. It's going to be a big one. Let's see if they want to start it on spawn type. Well, indeed. KDF, it seems like they're posturing to contest this one.
Yeah,
Herald is dropped.
Ragnarok is available as well, so Tyve can always just charge in through the front lines. Rift Herald has been dropped mid lane, so they're going to have to either force a fight or turn to the mid lane. A flash from Beginnings is scuffed, but Kwangdong Freecs still might hold.
He's dead!
Nice poke from downtown. Molly threads the needle with that rocket, finding Noth onto the back line. Rift Herald gets the charge down, knocks out the turret for Kwangdong Freecs, so the map is opened up, and it's now giving him all access past to the Dragon, which Zeki is burning down. 5,000 HP. It's doing it slowly, but Sentinels,
He's gonna get it.
maybe they don't care about the Dragon. Maybe we could get mid-prio, but it's evaporated, so now they're turning towards it. Tyve, can he get in range? 900 HP. The smite, it is secured by Kwangdong Freecs. Zeki gets out.
Teeth in the night, Zaki gets it, gets out. And that's going to be a Dragon going over to KDF at the cost of Noth's life. They get the mid lane turret as well, but I don't really count that one as a win because they took 2 Rift Heralds to get that turret down. Big, hefty investment, big commitment from KDF. But look at the game state, Rafa. It's a 1,000 gold lead. 1,000 gold, right? What's that even mean at this point in the game when you're playing against a comp like KDF has? That 1,000 gold sure doesn't mean much.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for the NA bias to give me a ton of hopium to say, oh yeah, 1,000 gold Sentinels, they're totally winning this one, bro. But I gotta go back to reality here, Omo. I mean, Kwangdong Freecs, they're monsters the later the game goes on, and it's their awareness, it's their micro decisions, and past the 15-20 minute mark that Sentinels have to be cautious about.
It's not only the team, right? That's the thing. It's both the team and the team composition that's going to give KDF a great time in the mid game and the late game. This is pretty much the KDF experience here, right? They want a team fight you in the mid to late game. They're happy just scaling it up. And they're getting everything they want right now.
Oh, sure.
Looking
Looking for the flip, but it's a taunt from MTS, stalling as much time as he can. 1,500 HP on the turret. Final spark, getting some burst damage right back down. MTS, he's so damn tanky. He actually almost took no damage. It was 50%, but it felt like so much was invested from Kwangdong Freecs, and they got nothing off of it.
But they're going to get the turret, but backup is coming from Sentinels. Can they cut them off?
Taunt onto Zeki. MTS is dealing a considerable amount of damage. Here comes the heroic entrance. Zeki, just one more leap strike. Finally lands the killing blow onto MTS, but he is far behind enemy lines. Another leap strike, trying to distance himself away from the members of Sentinels, but they run him down.
They run him down. They take down Zaki, but he gets the turret. He gets the kill onto MTS. I'm surprised MTS survived for as long as he did, but he finally drops a 1-for-1 here. KDF trading evenly for now. They get a turret. The gold is basically dead even. 1 dragon apiece. You want to look for a play onto Mali? Maybe not quite. He has the Howlbreaker here on the Cocky. He's going to be pretty hard to kill.
Definitely seems like Kwangdong Freecs are investing a lot of resources to get something that, at first, Sentinels doing a great job of neutralizing, but they're not finding as great responses on the other side of the map. In fact, they just make the rotation over to collapse and ending up just trading evenly. Once again, Kwangdong Freecs, this is a team that they have team fight prowess. They also have champions that not only can play these team fights, but also they can just take to the side lanes instead.
That's the big thing right now, right? We say Sentinels have globals. They can shift their position on the map if they so choose. But still, KDF are just going to outfight them on the side lanes just based on the nature of the champions. Tyve is going to get this at least.
Okay, Tyve secures the grab here, ensuring that they have proper vision of this Baron now that it has spawned. The Elder Dragon is the next objective on the table. Won't be spawning for at least a couple more minutes here. Kwangdong Freecs just maintaining defenses now, but they have mid prio. They could be looking to trade.
They will be able to get this turret as well, I think. They have a Jax, they have a Ziggs, the Clan minions alive. Beginning scares them off, though. That's the good thing, right?
Yeah, and Final Spark from Rest clears out the minion wave, giving no chance for Kwangdong Freecs to equalize the turret trade.
But Rafa, you see how KDF are just slowly chunking down these turrets. They're whittling them down bit by bit by bit. The top lane one's taking quite a bit of whittling. It's still up, surprisingly. But the mid lane one is basically down already. A little bit more damage, and one satchel charge will take it down. Honestly, if they find time to rotate Acrobat to the top lane, one satchel will take that down as well. There's so much standing go on the map the KDF can just get. But they're content with the state of the game. They don't feel a need to force a play. And who can blame them?
They're playing in their comfort zone, as we said before. The WCK, this is, for those that avidly follow that region, this is no strange place to be. 15 minutes, it's like, oh yeah, I just got my popcorn. Okay, this is where the game starts, right? Yeah, the next dragon fight is where we're gonna see some real action happen. It's gonna be the Elder as well. Halfway up, well, a little bit more than halfway up. But we'll see how both of these teams want to flip that objective. It's really just going to come down to that one. The game state right now, very neutral. Howlbreaker, Blade of the Rune King, Divine Slanderer in Fiora's backpack. That's going to give MTS a bit of pause here before he approaches her in the side lane. Making the decision whether he wants to hold on to the turret or be ready to respond promptly with the Stand United. It is up to Tide to make that engage first, or with Beginnings. Both now have flashes available, so they can close the distance quickly as long as Kwangdong Freecs are able to respond. MTS slowly whittled down, cannot hold on to the turret any longer.
But this is it, right? The game comes down to this. Tournament lives come down to this. They're gonna start it off, Rafa.
Yeah, but Acrobat just used Mega Inferno Bomb just to clear the wave. I mean, they're gonna miss out on a ton of damage depending on how fast Sentinels can start this up. Light Binding, but barely dodged out by Noth.
Nice
the Final Spark dodged out as well.
6K, do they want to keep leashing this? It's so dangerous, Rafa. It's gonna be a flip.
MTS is holding wave on the other side of the map.
They're gonna get mid-turret
as well.
KDF are gonna get mid-turret here.
They have the mid-wave prio, and Kwangdong Freecs is saying, okay, either you gotta burn down this dragon, you gotta force us to come to you,
They're
or
so
we're gonna
split.
get... Mega Inferno Bomb is up once again. I forgot how short the cooldown was. Thinking that it was a resource, and Kwangdong Freecs, they're pulling Sentinels apart. They're saying, you have to do this dragon, but do you really have to do this dragon? Because we can just continue taking turrets.
And this is the split push we talked about. It's starting here for the Kwangdong Freecs. Sentinels cannot make up their mind. They're disjointed. They're split. There's not a single call to follow. Package is timed out. It's looking disastrous, Rafa.
Sentinels, this is a challenge for them. Beginnings, does he find the engage?
That's big.
Final Spark on to Zeki, but he gets the stasis out. Heroic entrance, he flashes away from danger.
Big.
And that's a huge knockup from Noth that catapults MTS almost to his death. Grand Challenge has been posted onto Rest. He has to recall. A huge Mega Inferno Bomb finds the first kill of the fight. That's the Baron laner gone for Sentinels, and a lot of their anchor tools. One of the main frontline engaged.
They're gonna start it.
Kwangdong Freecs now have the ability to turn onto the dragon. Tide would have to pull off a miracle, but it has no Ragnarok. It's only flash. Noth looking for the re-engage once again. That's a huge stasis though from Molly. Can he distance himself away? Flashing away from the repause, the damage. That gate goes down.
No.
There's no cover for Kwangdong Freecs. And now Sentinels, but they're too low to be able to fight back. Everyone has to reset.
There's time, Rafa. There's no kill, so it feels early in the game, but it's 18 minutes. The death timer for Zeki is so long. I think Sentinels, you make a beeline for this dragon. This is your win condition. This is do or die. You have to go for it.
Kwangdong Freecs, they are going to have to defend as long as they can. 30 seconds on the clock. That Zeki cannot respond, cannot contest for the dragon. Sentinels, they just have to believe that they can secure this dragon as fast as they can. Kwangdong Freecs have to pull off a miracle to prevent Sentinels from doing the unthinkable. Mega Inferno Bomb gets a huge chunk down onto Rest in the backline, distancing himself away. No one's protecting Tide. Forced to block the Ragnarok. Stand United shield is there from MTS. He's still alive, but they're forced into the backline. Noth is diving deep.
They're just
onto
stalling.
Rest. Noth is able to get out, and he can look for a second win engage. And they have stalled out successfully for a second to get back onto the rib. He's teleporting in. Sentinels, they're forced back. Did so much damage that they have taken onto the backside. Kwangdong Freecs, this is their thriving time to shine. This is where they play the best. In these late game moments where every action is critical, and it is Kwangdong Freecs that succeed.
And the Kwangdong Freecs flow like and out and in and out, and they keep you interested, but you can't finish the dragon. You can't stop Maru. He takes down Type, and that was it. Well, Type lived, but he was so low he couldn't do a thing. Zeki came back alive. He TP'd back in. That's the Elder. That's very likely gonna be the Baron. And Rafa, I feel like that might be the game for Sentinels. I feel like they've just been outscaled at this point. Look at the gold lead for Maru.
Sentinels, everything now is... Everything is so difficult from this point on. You're fighting a team, one of the best team fighting teams in the world. Probably the best team fighting team from Korea. And they are in the point of the game where they thrive the best. Elder Dragon on their side, a buff that will never go away. Sentinels now looking to just try and see if they can find ways to set up a late game base race defense here. But Sentinels face checking right into the bush. But they managed to get out.
Look at how much damage the Singed even is doing at this point in the game.
Red team lost a turn.
It's so scary. Maru split pushing on the bottom side of the map. MTS can no longer answer the Fiora. She has outscaled him.
Yeah, remember the timer we were talking about? Remember the ticking time bomb off the Fiora? Well, time is up. This is it. There's not much MTS can do. He's gonna need backup. He's gonna lose the 1v1. He doesn't even need to hit the turret. The creeps would do it for him.
Taunt, just not even doing anything. Maru's able to answer back, sustain on through. Big Inferno Bomb, barely dodged out by Molly. Has the package available. Sentinels would have to pull off a miracle to come back from this state in the game.
Maybe 2 miracles. I think the game state is so disastrous. They're gonna need at least a clean ace or 2 good fights to come back from this one. But KDF, they don't have to do a thing. They can just chill. The game's basically won. You just need to whittle them down. And that's what they've been doing the whole game. They've been playing the whittling game, I guess, with Sentinels.
It's a slow death for Sentinels.
It's a
here.
brutal one.
Kwangdong Freecs strangling the life out of them minute by minute. Kwangdong Freecs say, you want to take this game long? We don't care. We're ready to go 30, 40 minutes.
We want to go 30, 40 minutes. That's exactly what KDF want to go. It's a 21-minute game with 8 kills, Rafa.
It's all about endurance here. Kwangdong Freecs, the masters of endurance, the masters of outlasting their opponents, proving to have more stamina than any other Wild Rift team in the world. Sentinels, the challenge is nigh for them, and at this point, we've already said it before, miracles would have to be made, a string of miracles even, and that satchel charge could just be the ending of Sentinels that they pick off beginnings. A major frontliner is now been eliminated.
Look at Maru
pouring through the base, has completely solo killed MTS with no resources whatsoever.
There's nothing they can do.
No help whatso necessary. Sentinels on the back foot, another inhibitor gone, and it is the final minion waves pouring into the base.
That's gonna be it. They're gonna go for the end.
Sentinels, one last ditch. But it is Kwangdong Freecs that are pushing them to the very brink. Ty managing to trade a kill back. Molly golden in golden. But you gotta be more than golden to take this series away from Kwangdong Freecs. The second seed from Korea take game 1 and put themselves a match point.
And they take game 1 in such a brutal manner as well. We talk about comeback wins being devastating on your mental. We talk about storms being devastating on your mental. But you know what's the worst of them all, Rafa? A grueling loss like that where you just get bled out slowly over time, knowing you get outscaled. That was exactly what the Kwangdong Freecs just did to Sentinels.
And if you're Sentinels right now,
what do you do? What's your adjustment?
You have to do whatever you can to mentally reset, to
Yeah.
mentally bounce back.
That's the first step.
And that's the thing about playing against the WCK, against any other region. When you play against the WRL, it's a fast, painful, but it's a fast, painful death, right?
They're gonna come to you.
They stomp on you,
Yeah.
they curb and everything. But for WCK teams, it is a slow, painful one. And for the homies on the analyst desk, I mean, you got to tell us, is there anything that Sentinels can do going into game 2?
Yeah. Let's do something against the late scaling team composition, y'all. Like, come on, man. It can't just be us figuring that one out here, Rafa. Thank you very much, Rafa Nomo, for the cast. Yo.
Hi.
Kwangdong Freecs. They pick a draft. They have a style. It just seems to play out that way, doesn't it?
I know, it's the WCK special, right? We've seen it time and time again, even back at Horizon Cup, where farming, making sure that they stabilize the game, and then fight at Elder Drake, and then just win that big, massive team fight.
Isn't that great how Riku just described an 18-minute game plan in like 5 seconds, which is what basically played out here.
That was
today.
the TLDR. It was a Fiora, it was a Jax, Cinch, Zig, Set. Basically everything that says right in your face, we're gonna kill you later.
Later. And the problem is, if you're over on the Sentinel side, you should see that. You should look at that and go, oh, this is what Riku would call a later composition. And it felt like they had recognized that in draft when we saw the Lux Galio combo for beginnings. That's such an aggressive early game kill lane. There wasn't a whole lot of killing or aggression. And that needs to change, especially because once we got to the late game team fights, those were also going wrong on a lot of minor mechanical mistakes. A couple of players getting out of position. The big one for me, Molly stepping too far forward as that Elder Drake was spiraling out of control, but Sentinels were honestly handling the spiraling pretty well. They made the right call, they backed away, they were going for the reset TP play, which pretty rough, low percent chance it works, and then during that time, Molly steps too forward, gets pulled, and you get shut down. So clean up those mechanical mistakes, and also, if you're gonna draft something that's aggressive, do something aggressive.
Be aggressive.
Yeah, I fully agree. The fact that perhaps you could use your kit to shadow basically where Kwangdong is going, because all they've been doing throughout the entire series is avoiding you and trading objectives. Shadow them, follow them.
I do want to say, I think we have maybe seen the limits of Lux. Because Rest was doing a lot of things very right. They were doing the combos that you normally look for to get kills, where you land CC, follow with Final Spark. I don't think a single Final Spark landed in the latter half of that game. And that's one of your major kill abilities. That is what decides those fights. And Rest was not able to engineer it, not I think because they were screwing up the combos, but because KDF saw the combos coming, recognized them as telegraph, and avoided them.
And it's so difficult, right? When we look at this Elder Drake fight where...
This was so fun.
It was super fun. Again, this was the WCK special of team fighting. I mean, there was a point where Sentinels was able to remove Zeki for 50 seconds. 50 seconds, by the way. That was the opening that they could take to get the 4v5, win that fight. But unfortunately, Acrobat was safe and sound. At this point of the game, 20-minute mark, Ziggs just deal a ton of damage, and if he's untouched, he's gonna whittle away your HP bar.
And that's a weakness with the composition that Sentinels drafted. If your Lux isn't landing damage, if you're not able to dive in with the Olaf, then you're not going to be able to reach Acrobat. And they didn't have an assassin that could get over the front line. They didn't have a Camille, for instance, that could lock down the back line, make it easier to land that final spark. So there was no way for them to reach Acrobat. And if you can front to back, yes, Sentinels, we talk up their front to backs. The entire WCK region plays front to backs, and and Kwangdong are the best team in that region at that style, so you can't just rely on the front to back to win you the game.
Right, I know a substitution coming in under a great amount of pressure is Tybe, but Tybe on the Olaf got to facilitate early, right? It's the Olaf-Shen combo. Those were the first several picks that they called out. You called out their strategy, and I think we might have seen the Stan United Ragnarok combo once, maybe twice in a team fight. Not even if it was successful, but just in a team fight in general, TJ.
Well, I want to call out, like, a lot of the things Sentinels did right? You look at this gold graph, they had control of the middle of the game. They played a lot of the macro stuff right, that extended trade around the Elder that was really fun because Sentinels were keeping pace. But you're absolutely right. You have the Olaf, you have that Galio Lux lane. Those are tools to start fights in the mid-game. Those are tools where, when you're sitting on an advantage, how do we press a fight? And they didn't do it. They didn't find the opportunities to. They fell behind in a lot of the macro trading and allowed KDF to engineer the fights they want. Riku, can you read that big number for me?
I don't think my eyesight is good enough to actually read the number, but I can see the bar, and the bar is very low.
The television's very far away from us.
It's 47,000 compared to Rest's. You know,
Such a
the
big
same number on the
number.
opposite side, 14,000, right?
I couldn't see it either. We both have glasses. They're not good enough for this.
We gotta get that checked.
That's all right. Not everyone can be blessed without the glasses, eyes that can still read that far away. But what we do need is to see Rest land some damage here. So if that means moving off of the Lux, what's the answer then from your damage dealer in the bottom side of the map?
Okay, for me, if I were to make a suggestion on what can match the Ziggs potentially, is the Varus. In early game team fights, the Varus is so good against squishies, and I feel like it just gives you a lot of avenues for pick potential as well. You can lock people down. You can have an oppressive bottom lane as well if you lock in a Thresh. And I feel like that's one of the strongest early game, aside from the Lucian Karma or Lucian plus other enchanter. I think that's another option if they're going for the early game route, basically.
I'm gonna throw a curveball.
All right, let's curveball, TJ. Can't wait to see it. 78 miles.
Welcome to my new television show, The Curve Zone. Let's see if we can get one of those beginnings enchanters picks. Because that's what he did regionally in the WNS that we haven't seen so much of recently. But I think you need to not be trying to match KDF right now if you're Sentinels. Matching KDF into those late game, handshaking into those team fights with the split push being a major factor, that's always going to be really scary. Draft something more aggressive. Take a page out of the WRL playbook. Have something like an enchanter in the bottom lane in beginnings' hands. Have more aggressive play through the top side of your map. Let Rest and that lane play weak. Maybe a Varus as that weak side laner. Put your emphasis elsewhere. Play through type, MTS, and the top side.
All right, here we go. Deep breath, North American fans. Game 2 is about to be underway. Will it be the last time we see Sentinels on stage? Find out. Rafa and Omo, take it away.
I'm taking a deep breath, Degon. I'm holding it in.
I let mine out.
I can't let it out as calmly. There's so much stress. There's so much pressure built up here for the hopes of NA's second seed in a do or die state now. One game away would knock them out, eliminating them from the rest of Icons and leaving Immortals as the only NA team left in the tournament now.
The stress is gonna be so high for Sentinels. This is it. Backs against the wall. What can you do? And it gets worse, Rafa. We had our analyst desk outline the win conditions here for Sentinels, and none of them sound particularly easy or even particularly doable to me. It's your back is against the wall. It's do or die, and you have to make proactive plays against one of the best WCK team fighting teams that will try to stall you out, that will try to drag the game out, and the pressure is all on you, Sentinels. Can you step up? Can you rise up to the plate?
Well, Pierce with a nod, Tybe with
He
a
says
nod.
yes.
You have faces, confident faces going into the draft phase now. And I have seen multiple members from this roster be down 0-2,
Yeah.
0-3, and be able to come back in series. The clutch factor, mainly Tybe, the substitute jungler. He's not been able to deliver as much as Sentinels fans would like to see on the international stage. But there is a time to bring it back. It would be now. Game 2 starts.
And it all starts with this picks and bans phase, Rafa. In the last game, we saw KDF as having a much easier win condition, a much easier time just scaling up, team fighting, split pushing. They had it all. This time around, what answers do Sentinel have? Do you want to put all your eggs back into the type basket? Or do you want to try to diversify a little bit here? TJ said maybe play for MTS. Well, he will have counter pick against Maru if they choose to go down that route.
Something that I would personally like to see is what if you give an assassin to Molly here? Something that Molly made a name for himself growing up through year 0 of the WNS, back when it was still the Summoner Series.
Yeah.
Molly on multiple pickup teams, most famously Chonk Chortle for NA fans, was a huge Katarina player. Now, Katarina would be a huge wild card from left.
Yes.
I know, almost looking at me like, okay, I'm no longer vibing with where we were going here. The vibes were cool until you said that particular champion, but obviously there are other assassins that Molly has shown prowess on. The Akali, even something like a Diana that is more of an like an AP bruiser / assassin that can engage with fights, set up huge plays, but also have the durability of something like a Gragas or like a Singe.
And Zed is one of the best assassin picks in the entire tournament as well, right? If Molly chooses to go down that route, that could be a possibility here as well. I feel like they might have to throw a curveball. You can't just stick to the basics, stick to the default, and hope it works. Well, like TJ said, it seems to be playing out this way. They maybe just want to play around Type and Molly again. I feel like Choir might be one of the weak links in the KDF roster as well. If you want to try to exploit that, maybe draft something that Molly can be aggressive in the mid lane.
Sentinels already setting up the core. I think I can agree that, you know, while the Shen does limit MTS's ability to be a strong Baron laner that is handling 1v1s against champions like the Fiora later on into the game, it gives them a lot of power early, and it gives them a lot of agency in the mid game with the Stand United, and the Ziggs being locked down for rest ensures that Acrobat doesn't have a standout game on the Explosive Expert, but it's going to be on the Varus, and the Lee Sin for Zeki. Oh, now Kwangdong Freecs saying, hey, oh, but this, okay,
that's nice.
All right,
that's
so
good here.
two things back to back. So Zeki gets the Lee Sin. There's now early agency for this position, but when we have talked about Tide, 2-trick going up in the year 0. It was the Camille, and it was Wukong. And I spoke to Tide saying, hey, did you see the Wukong change? He's like, yeah, they seem all right, but Wukong has been popping off in this tournament, and I think he's finally bitten the bullet and said, you know what? Give me the Wukong.
It's time to bring back the Wukong, and I like it here as well. Has a decent matchup into the Lee Sin. You get on top of the Varus with the Inferno Bomb coming in, with the Stand United coming in. He's basically done for. And I feel like we've kind of flipped the script here a little bit, Rafa. KDF now, they are going in on the early game. Varus is going to have a good lane phase against the Ziggs. Lee is going to do Lee things. He's going to be enabled by the Singe. And now it's KDF's turn to go for the early game, go for the pressure. Let's see what they can do.
From a theoretical point, Kwangdong Freecs are flipping the script here, as you said, saying, hey, we just won a game where we bled you out slowly.
But we just did nothing and won.
Yep. And now they're flexing their muscles and saying, okay, now we're going to take a composition that allows us to ramp up the pace. We're going to show you how to play the early game correctly. I'm going to inflict even more mental damage, but also bolster our diversity as we get ready for if Kwangdong Freecs take this series against Liberty for the 2nd seed.
And I really did like this Alistar pick. I feel like there's a lot that Alistar could do into the Kwangdong Freecs team composition, but the set, yet again, getting locked in for North, and you know he just has one goal in mind, one target in mind. I want to slam that cow into the rest of his team.
I've never seen Molly play Yasuo before. But something in my bones tells me that with 2 knockups from Wukong and Alistar, that is what they're looking for. That would be hype as hell.
Yeah.
But Kwangdong Freecs with this Akali pick for Maru, great answer into Shen. One of the few matchups that Akali can thrive in because you're not necessarily auto-attack based. You can just cast mostly your spells and dodge out on the Twilight Shroud.
Okay. It's the Diana like you talked about, right? And the Diana into the Singe, that's a bit of a dangerous matchup here, Rafa. We were kind of talking about this earlier on today. If you're melee, if you're short range, Singe can just go up. He can flip you. Lee Sin's there, that's gonna be a kill. Molly, though, is one of his best picks. We've seen him try to make the engages happen for Sentinels in the past. Now, he has backup. He's working in tandem with Types Wukong, in tandem with MTS coming in on Stand United, and of course, Beginnings gonna be on that Alistar trying to make the plays happen. Will this be it for Sentinels? They have a team comp that can make miracles.
One of Molly's longtime duos in NA is starting, formerly of Tribe, and now, you know, playing for Immortals as their substitute. Both of these guys have been doing a ton of 1v1s on the Diana. They are some of the best Diana players that NA has to offer. If there is hope for NA, it starts now in a reverse sweep attempt for Sentinels against the best team fighting team in the world in Kwangdong Freecs.
Well, we'll have to see what the Kwangdong Freecs can do here because their team comp allows for them to take some amazing team fights. But at the same time, so does Sentinels, and that sets us up for a very exciting game. I don't think we're going to see the snooze fest we saw last game, Rafa. I think both of these teams want to go at it, starting from Dragon number 1.
I'm ready for a match that will deliver on the hype. All stakes are at an all-time high. Kwangdong Freecs at match point, Sentinels on the back foot. Reverse sweep would have to start now, and Kwangdong almost delivering on a all-out brawl level 1.
Yeah, both teams just staring each other down, but nothing's really going to come out of that one. I do want to point out that I feel like the set's going to have a field day this game. He has 2 very clear targets. He can knock Molly out when he's channeling the Moonfall, and of course he can knock the Beginnings into your own team as well. He's going to be a big part of the win condition for KDF, and he definitely delivered last game as well.
Oh, hey, what's up?
It's us.
It's us. Taking the stance. power casting stance there.
I'm just glad I'm not doing anything unglamorous this time. I have a pretty unglam casting mode, as you would see from the pictures the Riot have taken of me.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's on me, really.
You always got to be ready for the cameras.
Yeah.
Clearly, we weren't there, but you know.
That one was okay. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't like necessarily not glamorous. However,
it could have been better.
It could have been better. We could have had epic gamer stances.
That would have been something here. And then both of these teams just going to be staring each other down in the mid lane, but nothing really going to come out of that one. MTS takes a good trade to start things off in the Baron lane.
Both the supports also roaming as well. Noth answering beginnings, looking for a mid lane roam. 3-on-1 potentially here.
Beginnings getting the high value heal down to both his mid laner and his Baron lane, and his jungler. He's roaming all the way up here though. Where's he going? Type's not here. Beginnings is all alone here trying to back up MTS. This is quite the roam, Rafa.
Beginnings is going for the sneaky link through
He's
the
gone
bush
for
here.
the cross country.
Yeah. He's ready
But
to
why?
pounce on Maru. I mean, he wants to find an executive play. And something that the analyst has mentioned is that they criticize Beginnings not being able to pull off aggressive plays.
Yeah.
You can see that Beginnings is trying, but it's the timers that are difficult to pull off here, and the position of the wave state that makes it hard for Sentinels to actually execute. So
Look,
it's
this is gonna sound harsher, Rafa, but it feels to me like Type and Beginning are just not communicating, or they're just not on the same page. Because when your Alistair roams all the way up, when your Wukong's at the bot side jungle, that's never a play that you could make work.
I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt that they were hoping to catch Maru by surprise.
Sure.
You had saw Zeki clear the Scuttle Crab, so Maru might have thought, okay, maybe I can push into the Shen, maybe I can take a more aggressive trade and no one will be here. However, Zeki might be caught out here. It is Tybe looming in the shadows.
He's got backup.
He's waiting maybe to walk up and smite it. Oh,
No!
it's a flat. Oh!
The worst possible scenario for Beginnings. You could do two things. You could headbutt Palf, you could flash Palf. Unfortunately, I think it was a misclick. He flash, headbutts it, and Zeki fast enough just flashes right out of there. It's just gonna be a trade. Oh man, that's a heartbreaker for Beginnings. He's been having these heartbreaks the entire series, Rafa. His Galio engages haven't been landing. Now an Alistair as well, it's just rough.
I'm really trying hard to find the words to, you know, find silver lining. That one kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Remember what Degon said, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Game's just getting started. It's 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. No objective's gonna be up yet. We are just chilling for now.
Inner peace.
Inner peace is what Sentinels need to find as well.
Inner peace. All right, I got my meditation
All
session.
right.
I've forgiven Beginnings. You know what happens to the best of us on the international stage? Pressure's on. I hope Sentinels are breathing as well. You know, just calm down, guys. Take a page out of the LATAM region and the Brazil region as well. When they were down, they didn't let the game get the best of them. They didn't let the pressure get the best of them. Yes, they exited out, but they still tried for it, and they were able to pull off some of the most miraculous plays forward. I mean, Furious Gaming with the upset over Nova, yes, was only one game, but Sentinels just...
But what a game.
What a story to remember. And Sentinels, they have... If they are able to pull out a miracle in this game against Kwangdong Freecs, the second best Korean team, that would be a miracle in itself as well.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the game for a little bit here. If you look at Beginnings, his roaming has actually ended up hurting him. He hasn't found anything, and now he's a level behind Noth. You don't often see supports with a level gap, barring a massive kill gap, because that just doesn't happen. You're not farming, nothing's going on. It's just Beginning has been over-roaming. He's basically 2 levels down on Noth if you look at the EXP bar.
Every word that you say is another dagger. I'm just...
Every arrow that Acrobat throws is another dagger into the hearts of Sentinels as well. It's doing so much damage. They're gonna start off the Harrow.
You know what? Here's my copium angle.
Okay, let's do it.
Sentinels want to play for late games anyways, right?
Not really. Kinda?
Man.
But Akali's late game is
Work
so
with
good.
me! Please give me something to hope. Oh,
Well, let's
Tybe's
look
in
at
the
this.
hit. Okay, 3,400. Cyclone right on to Noth. The knockup follow-up from Beginnings, but he's super critically low. First blood goes over to Kwangdong Freecs, and the Rift Herald has been secured. But Tybe is able to answer back on the Wukong. Oh, it's Tybe! He's the one that manages to yoink the Rift Herald away from Korea.
Oh no, he wants to go for Charlie here as well. The Singe stuck under the turret. The Rift Herald gonna tank that one up.
And he's super low. He doesn't have the ultimate
Doesn't have
anymore.
anything,
Molly's
yeah.
just towing like the okay, Tybe and Molly turning it up. Rift Herald gets the charge down. They're not going to be able to go for first brick quite yet because Maro is here to defend the turret, but Sentinels showing signs of life in this series.
Let's take a look at how that one played out. It started off so well. Every ultimate used onto Noth. I thought that Kwangdong Freecs had the fight based off of that. Okay, we just don't want to look at it because it was bad for KDF. That's basically the gist here.
The panoramic view.
Yeah, of Summoner's Rift. Take a tour with me. We had the radio show, now what do you call it? You taking a scenic view?
Yeah, the nature show.
Yeah.
There's actually
I like
some
that.
super nice nature spots we got to hit up after in Singapore on some off days.
100%. Well, let's look at Noth.
Oh, Noth. He's going for the scenic tour view of trying to see if they can knock out Sentinels right now. Beginnings, no ultimate available, so this cow is very squishy at the moment. Dragon being started up by Kwangdong Freecs, still looking to poise around it, but they've given up position right now. Sentinels able to bully them off. Zeki is nowhere near. Can he go for the Steel Sonic Wave in? But it is Tybe that secures another objective for Sentinels.
Now Sentinels are looking good, and this time around, KDF don't have the benefit of infinite scaling team compositions anymore. They are starting to feel the pressure, I'm sure. Sentinels gotta feel good about this one. Oh, look at that.
It's starting off well. Arrest is putting out major damage now, a lot more reliably than the Lux was. Kwangdong Freecs seem to have practiced well against the Light Sorceress himself, but this time, an AoE bomb like that is hard to dodge consistently.
It is definitely going to be hard to dodge out on. I want to point out Maru's itemization. He has the Lich Bane, no Divine Sundra. His goal is just going to be to try to kill Res, try to kill Molly, try to kill some of the squishies. Doesn't care about MTS.
Oh,
that's big.
Molly is in a world of hurt. 1v3.
Oh, man. And that kill going over to Maru is going to be great as well. He's one of the primary carries of this game. He's one of the best scaling sauces, if not the best scaling champion, on the side of the Kwangdong Freecs here.
The only thing that keeps them in the late game the further it goes on. Acrobat and Zeki, built for the early game. Noth as well, great engage as always, but their power and their consistency and reliability can fall behind in likes of their counterparts in the Wukong and the Ziggs. And Sentinels have been found. Sweeper is going to find Maru here. Headbutt pulverize combo. Huge damage from Rest. Maru Ignite ticking down. Sentinels, another one on the board.
Maru was a bit greedy there. He held his flash, he held his shroud, he held his everything.
Cyclone onto Noth. He's out deep in enemy territory right now, flashing away, but the Haymaker shield has already been expended. Another bomb! Sentinels, another one! They're starting to ramp up!
Things are falling apart here for the KDF. They lose members one after another. Maru dropping, then Noth getting caught out. Sentinels are finding the picks they need. They're finding the kills they need. Will it be enough this game?
And something to know about Sentinels, especially this jungler Tybe. Whenever the confidence starts rolling in, that is when he starts feeling more confident in how proactive he can be. It is a momentum swing, and maybe something that we saw in game one where on the Olaf, because things weren't going their way, playing too relaxed, you're just saying, you know what, I don't want to make any mistakes. I don't want to be the one that costs my team the game because I'm the substitute, but get out of that mentality, Tybe. Be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
This is Sentinels. This is NA's hopes and dreams on the line. You have no time to worry about being scared. You have to play to win.
Well, on the Monkey King 3-0, he's definitely playing to win. He's going to get the Rift Herald here for his team as well. And Sentinels are rushing now to try to save MTS again. Great usage of the bombs. Great usage of the lasers last game as well. Res has been doing a good job clearing out the waves where he needs to.
Tybe, another objective secured. This Rift Herald is going to be thrown down a la WCK, Rift Herald style, but 1500 HP. As long as this Rift Herald doesn't get stopped, it will slam and open up the map.
That's big.
Great chain of corruptions from Acrobat. It's going to stop Sentinels right in their tracks and almost takes out Tybe, but it is the clone. Even I got debated on the end of that one. Caster, by the way.
Well, that's still got to be the mid lane turret going over to the Sentinel squad. That's going to be big, right? You have a lot of wave play. You can hug your turret line the entire game, and there's no whittling going on this game. Sentinels, they've taken 2 turrets, but barely even taken any damage on their own.
Game state, somewhat even. Sentinels slightly pulling ahead, thanks to the objective plays off of Sentinels in the past few minutes. We're approaching the 11-minute mark. The second dragon will be spawning as well relatively soon, and most of Sentinel's key playmakers are on 2 items now.
Yeah, this is a huge timing spike for the Sentinels. Their team comp does one thing, diving into the Kwangdong Freecs with the item spikes, with the death cap being picked up here from Mali as well. If they get the engage onto the right targets, it's gonna be huge for the Sentinel squad.
But while Sentinels are currently ahead right now, you cannot count out Acrobat on this Varus because he is at his prime. Muramana is not fully stacked yet, but once it is, those auto attacks, the arrows coming in from downtown, if Sentinels leave him unchecked, that is Kwangdong Freecs' way back into the mid-game, back into maintaining control and closing out this series.
And the Dragon is coming up in 20 seconds as well. There's a bit of a goal lead here for Sentinels, but it's not massive. It's not game-winning. It's still anyone's game, it's still anyone's fight, and both teams are definitely posturing for this. No one wants to trade this time around. We are here to fight. Look at the damage from the Sundra Wukong.
Tide thriving in comfort right now.
Yeah, this is his zone.
Don't let him into that zone.
He's already definitely in his zone.
Sentinels slowly posturing over this dragon. But there's great ward coverage from Kwangdong Freecs, so it's going to be difficult for them to take it safely. Noth already in position to advance forward. No clone. That's a cooldown.
Zeki just went home to pick up his Black Cleaver. I get it, it's a big power spike, but that was so dangerous. Luckily, the Sentinels were not aware of that. If there was a Watt that spotted it out, that dragon was theirs.
Prepping the minion wave to make sure that they have all 5 members at the ready.
Yeah, look
you
at
also
the
have
top lane.
MTS pressuring the turret here. I wonder if Sentinels, if they can just play this slow, as long as they don't get engaged on by Kwangdong Freecs, MTS is currently unchecked. He can do serious structural damage. But Tybe is going in for the engage, so that means MTS has got to join the fight as well. Cyclone, it is stopped. Beautiful Dragon's Rage and Chain of Corruptions, and Maru is on the flank. Watch for him. If Rest isn't protected here, he will die to this Akali. Beginnings going for the recall. Piercing Arrow finds him. Beginnings is going to walk right into Maru, and that's the cow gone! And now suddenly, Sentinels are thrown into a world of chaos because there is a sneaky ninja assassin on the backline somewhere. Sentinels have to play together.
They're going for
play as a
dragon.
group. They're looking for the dragon. Molly gets the shuriken back, flip tagged right onto him. Maru goes in. Perfect execution. Half
He's so
HP
low.
already gone, but still has one more cast. Can play with it. Look for fatal damage here. MTS looks for it. MTS gets baited out on the taunt. Time able to trade back on the choir, but who gets the dragon in the end? It is secured by Acrobat. Tybe is still chasing. Molly's on the chase as well. Maru doing fantastic damage on the backline, but Rest manages to stay alive. And Sentinels, have they traded up? Yes, they have.
They lose the dragon, but they have traded up in kills. It's gonna be a 2 for 3 at the end of that whole situation, and it's gonna be a big team fight win still for the Sentinels. Molly gets the kills, Tybe gets the kills, blinking red health bars on both teams, but it's the Sentinels that took the team fight win.
A moment of relief from NA fans right now. The game isn't over yet, and there's still a looming danger from Kwangdong Freecs, who they have had their marksman shut down in that prior fight. But getting a dragon adds to the scaling potential, and we cannot reiterate this enough. Kwangdong Freecs are absolute behemoths when it comes to the later parts of the game. Yes, this composition doesn't look like it's engineered for the late game, but Kwangdong Freecs will find a way to make it work.
They have the tools. There are tools. It's not impossible. There's a big Dragon Rage win condition. There's Noth setting up a big combo. There's Maru. We saw him. He nearly won the team fight for his team in the last team fight. These 3 guys are going to be the ones you're looking out for. Maybe Chariot can find a nice little flip, but he's not going to be the main playmaker. Neither is Acrobat. We're looking out for the Akali, the Lee Sin, the Set. Now on the side of the Sentinels, it's pretty straightforward, right? It's gonna be Tybe, it's gonna be Molly. These are your 2 big playmakers. Everything else just layers on top of that. The Stand United, the Mega Inferno Bomb, and of course the Alistar combo.
And in terms of change to the original roster dating back to year 0, last year, July 2021, these are the 2 newest members. Tybe obviously here as a substitute for Sheesh, but Molly changed out for Michael Udall, someone that he recommended personally to take on the mantle of this mid lane. Getting engaged on, thanks to the Stand United from MTS, will keep him alive. Beginnings looking for a potential pickup for the counter engage. Doesn't find it.
And Sentinels have done such a good job shutting down the plays.
Whoa, Tybe onto the forefront,
man.
has the GA, so he feels confident going for the engage.
But
And he can
Zed-
find it. Cyclone almost soloing out Noth, but his GA almost
Doesn't
gets
pop.
popped. Ooh!
No way.
Tybe, the piercing
No
arrow doesn't
way.
land. Tybe is able to save his GA. That's a value play.
That is huge. He nearly takes down Noth. At the very least, he gets a flash, and that's going to be a very value flash because Sat Flash
Ignite
oh,
too.
so important. Yeah, the Ignite as well. And he saves his own flash. He saves his GA. And Tybe, he is showing up big when the pressure is up, when the pressure is turned up.
For those who are longtime fans of Enemy, the team that Tybe came from before the end of the WNS Championship, one of the long-standing members alongside teammates like Yikes, Truth of Light as well, Jackie and Alui and Luan DJ, all these former team members looking through their former jungler, playing on the international stage for Sentinels, knowing that when Tybe gets ahead like this, when he is able to play this dangerously, this is when he is best. But Kwangdong Freecs can't sleep on them quite yet. Tybe is forced to use the Cyclone primarily to disengage from a fight.
Jella right now on the Singe, he's so squishy. He's getting shredded every team fight. This is a far cry from the Singe we saw last game. Not having the best game here for sure.
2,000 gold still for Sentinels. Nothing to write home about. It is nowhere near in Sentinels' control, but a slight edge gives them the confidence to continue playing forward, to continue being the ones that are putting Kwangdong Freecs on the back foot.
And it's quite the back foot as well. They're getting zoned away from their own jungle.
Tybe is so strong. He doesn't take any damage from
Yeah.
Zeki at this point. This is how the Lee Sin Wukong matchup starts to play out.
Uh-oh.
It's so hard to take him down. Divine Sunder, and now it is beginning.
Acrobat's dead.
This time he is looking for the ones. Acrobat almost falling to beginnings. He had the Stand United Shield as well, but it looks like it was canceled by...
That's the good thing about the Singe in the Shen matchup. You don't have to crowd control him. I'm pretty sure your glue trap cancels the Stand United.
Oh, snap.
I think it does.
I thought he would just walk up and flip, but if
I mean, you
that's the
could.
case,
Yeah. I think it does. I'll have to double check.
Yeah.
But the flip definitely does.
Oh,
no!
A nice death trap from Sentinels finds one kill immediately for value, punishing Kwangdong's Freak for walking blindly into the Baron buff, and Acrobat and Noth are the ones that pay for it, but they answer back on the Sentinels. It's up to Maru! All Maru all day! Can he be the hero for Kwangdong Freecs? Can he close the distance? It looks like he only finds two in the end.
And this has no business being a close fight for the Kwangdong Freecs, but it was all Maru finding Ras, cleaning up beginnings, 3 items on the Akali. We said he was the only chance for the Kwangdong Freecs in the late game, and is he delivering on that or what, Rafa? 5-1 and 0 on this Akali. Inferno Elder Dragon right now. This is gonna be the game.
Coca-Cola pop-off. Taking a replay here. This is where they punish Noth, having to be the one person that steps up for vision, but explodes without it getting a chance to pop the haymaker.
And look at Tybe, man. He just pressures Acrobat out, takes him out, but look at Maru. He finds the Shuriken flip onto Ras, comes in, basically one-shots him without using half his combo, and just cleans him up at the end of that one. Look at the Elder, though.
Okay, this is what we were leading up to. It seems like Sentinels have full control of the Elder Dragon.
The Elder!
Oh, the Elder is being whittled down, but they're taking their time with it. Kwangdong Freecs having to be forced to enter in. They cannot let Sentinels take it. Tybe on the forefront has the Stand United Shield. He's looking for Acrobat onto the sideline. No one can protect him. The marksman is gone for Kwangdong Freecs. Sentinels, they're the ones on the forefront. They're the ones leading the charge. And in a time that was necessary, Tybe and Molly stopping up on Maru. Can he be the hero for Kwangdong Freecs? Can he salvage this game? Can he prevent it from going to a game 3? Does he find the Shuriken backflip on the MTS, but he doesn't want to jump into 5 members. This Elder Dragon, Zeki, a miracle would be had if he can get into the pit, but Molly throwing his life potentially just to make sure that he doesn't get into it. Flashing away, but Zeki takes out Molly, and now Sentinels are down a member. Noth throwing his life in there as well, trying to stall as much time as he can. Maru's still full HP. He can still deal some major damage here. Acrobat's death timer is coming up in the next 10 seconds as well.
Beginnings is keeping the dragon leashed. That's all he's doing. He's keeping the dragon leashed so he can finish it off.
Zeki is nowhere near to be found. He's on the bottom side of the map. He can get in range. 3,000 HP. Sonic Wave. Does he toss for it? 1,800. He walks in. Who's took the dragon? I can't tell. Sentinels. They have taken the Elder Dragon, but teleports are coming in. It's the reinforcements from Kwangdong Freecs. Can Sentinels make sure that they get out alive? Tybe is game. And Sentinels with the Elder Dragon on their side. I imagine that they are in the lead, but Kwangdong Freecs, I don't know.
What can the KDF squad get out of this? That's the question right now. 30-second death timers for MTS and Type. Their eyes are set on the Baron, but I don't think that's what they want, Rafa. I think they want to turn. I think they want to kill off Sentinels.
24 seconds on Tybe. 1200 HP on the Baron. A Mega Inferno Bomb from Rest.
Six.
It is going to dissuade and stop Kwangdong Freecs in their tracks. Maru, though, not
He
giving
wants
any an
rest.
inch. He wants rest as well. Perfect execution already expended, but it's the rest of Sentinels looking for revenge. They're looking to take down the Ninja Assassin as well.
Choir.
But Choir making
Travis
sure
saves it.
that he stops it. Oh, a Dragon's Rage kick from Zeki, but a beautiful
He's
stasis from Rest. It's going to keep him alive. Zeki's gone, and now Sentinels, they have Tybe up.
That's Baron. That's gonna be Baron here for the Sentinels. The Elder, the Baron now in their sights. Sentinels, they want to bring us to a game 3. They want to bring us to a match point. And Rafa, I think they can do it.
Baron being whittled down. Kwangdong Freecs looking for a flank. Kwa has the blast cone.
Oh,
He's
look at
getting
this.
in there, throwing as much poison damage as he can. Mega Inferno Bomb adding to the chaos. 2000 HP. Time secures the Baron for Sentinels. They can clean up the rest of Kwangdong Freecs. Death timers on Zeki and Noth now.
And the Kwangdong Freecs lose the Baron. They lose their support. They've lost their jungler. They lose the Elder Inferno Dragon with a Ziggs as well, Rafa, mind you. That's gonna be doing a lot of damage. Now backs against the walls. The Kwangdong Freecs have no more scaling. They have no more win conditions. I think Sentinels might have just done it.
Sentinels. The game is not over yet, but you can imagine that all the dominoes have been lined up for success to answer back in this second game to bring us to a game 3. NA fans from around the world, Sentinels fans from around the world hold their breaths as they wait to see if this miracle can be made, if this step closer can be closed out here, whereas Kwangdong Freecs, they are not going to go down without a fight. They will go down swinging if they have to.
They're gonna go down swinging, but there's not much to swing against. All 3 lanes being pushed in by the Baron. Where do you throw a punch?
It starts with Maru. Maru's been so spectacular on this Akali, pulling out all the
here we
miracles.
go.
Molly flashing forward, looking for Acrobat. He wants to end the game right now. He
He's
wants
dead.
to bring us to a game 3. Do you believe, North America? Do you believe Sentinels bring us to game 3?
I did not believe, Rafa. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that one was over, but the Sentinels make it work. And Type, man, what a performance from him. The kid steps up huge here. They drafted a comp around him in game 1 around his Olaf. Frankly, he did not deliver. But here on the Wukong, he comes up huge.
My heart is pounding. If TJ and Dagon know, Kangas knows, every NA fan knows how much history I have known, not only most of these players from Sentinels, but also Tybe, one of the first pros that I've known since July of last year. This is the biggest challenge for him and the Sentinels yet. But for Kwangdong Freecs, can they bring it back here, Dagon, or is this the Sentinels reverse sweep?
That's a lot of yelling over there on the side of Sentinels in the background. I'm
They're
sure you
hype.
can hear it. I am containing the hype right now, but
I understand.
all of us, Riku, you are now a part of us.
I know.
We're cheering back
I'm
there.
cheering with you guys.
Man, thank you very much, Rafa and Omo. Again,
I do believe!
there it is. There it is. He does believe in it. Here we are. We're another game 3 on the horizon, but let's break down game number 2 here, TJ.
I mean, I want to just start with what a series.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot ask for a better game 2 of a series. It is worth mentioning here in Singapore, we are now gaming past midnight, if you have just tuned in on the West
No,
Coast.
TJ, you have to say it the way that you said
Sorry.
it back there.
We're now gaming past midnight.
There we go. That is the connotation of gaming past midnight. It's not, hey, we're gaming past midnight.
It is 1 a.m. Here in Singapore, and so I don't want to blame everything on that. I think there's also, this is an elimination game on the stage. I think
Yes.
that's also factoring into this. But both teams, you're seeing just some nerves from those players, which is, I think, improving the series. And it's also worth mentioning, we spent this whole desk talking about how, frankly, the best thing for Sentinels to do is to give up on their late game team fights and maybe go for a swing in the early game.
Right?
They doubled down on the late game, and we saw this hyper late game work out for Sentinels.
I love the fact that they picked up the Ziggs. There's a high priority on the draft earlier in game number 2, and it helped them so well to match that in case that Kwangdong Freecs does the same thing again, where they have to fight an Elder, boom, we've got the Ziggs on our side, dealing a whole lot of damage.
A ton of damage there by Rest. And you kind of wonder, on the flip side there for Acrobat, playing someone else akin to what Lux is, you gotta land your abilities, you gotta land the arrows, and Acrobat not doing that, a lot harder to do, other than a Ziggs now.
I mean, Acrobat is one of the players who defined this playstyle. He was one of the first Varus players back when WCK was playing full tank plus Varus, so everything is on the Varus landing his piercing arrows. He was the guy who kind of premiered that style because you could rely on Acrobat to play an incredible Varus. Be it the game in Past Midnight, be it the elimination game, he is not landing his shots right now in a match where it matters. And Rest, a player that has had doubts raised about his abilities all season long, is stepping up. That was an incredible Ziggs game from him, and he outperformed Acrobat when it counted.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. I feel like a king is just punching the air out of happiness, and it was just so hype, right? When we look at what KDF wanted to do in this game, it felt like they want to rush things. They didn't want to reach that 20-minute mark, especially there's a Ziggs in the opposition, especially they have a Lee Sin on their side, a Varus on their side against 3 tanks, by the way.
This entire sequence by the Elder Dragon was some of the most nerve-wracking gameplay I've ever seen. Maru at this point, like everything on the bottom side of the map falls apart for KDF, but Maru, as always, is going to be the player who shows up.
For sure.
Every single time. And both these teams have that MTS similarly stable in the top lane, but Maru completes Infinity Orb around this time and starts looking terrifying on his Akali, and he's dancing through these fights completely unsupported, finding kill after kill and almost working their way back into it.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that the Ziggs Rest was well protected by 3 beefy frontliners, by the way, and for some reason the Shuriken still finds the right target, which is Rest.
The Shuriken still found the target, but Beginnings, who was like a little bit shaky at the beginning of this, experiencing some gaming past midnight at the beginning of this game, comes into the second half when it matters, when Rest needs his protection, and delivers some of the cleanest support play we've seen all day, and we've seen a lot of really good support play today. That was a really good Alistar game.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like you're going to be able to ban him out now because you've called it the multiple champions that he's able to play on those engages, but let me tell you, North American fans, that was our pulse right there, right? We're like, good, okay, good. Oh, we're almost at it, 21 minutes, almost gone. And then
There's a drop, there's a drop right there. Oh, again.
But goodness, again, Sentinels finally not only getting or picking up their win here and getting the win back in their sails, but also Kwangdong Freecs were pretty loose coming into this game too. It felt like they needed that win a ton, and now they're the ones that are gonna have to battle back against a loss here, TJ.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about the final damage numbers here because I think they tell the story. Incredibly good performance by Maru. Rest of the team that you need to follow up, not there, and you could see that in-game as well. So I don't know what's going on in those team comms. I assume there's a conversation happening behind the screens or behind the scenes where they are hopefully getting things recentered. But it wasn't a great time for KDF in those late game team fights. They didn't look super synced up.
Yeah, and for me, take a look at this chart. This is the first time we've gotten to see Tybe and why, out of all the players, all the player pool available, he was the one that was selected to come on in and fill in that jungle role.
I do also want to tag one thing on there, which is that Acrobat did have a very big number. It was a really long game. It was, once you're past 20 minutes and Varus has been playing all game, the number's going to be big. When it mattered, when the team fights were big, he was not landing the arrows he needed to, so don't be deceived by the very big number. That wasn't actually a great performance from Acrobat. You are right about time. That was a good game.
Riku?
Yeah, I really think when it comes to the later stages, we've reached the 23-minute mark. When it comes to Ziggs versus the Varus, it's going to be a little bit tricky. I feel like Ziggs deals much more faster and bigger output when it comes to the damage department. And better itemizations in general, or rather, there are not a lot of tanks on the side of KDF, so there's a lot of value on those bombs. Meanwhile, unfortunately for Acrobat, had to deal with the Wukong.
He's farming damage on Alistar.
Exactly. Just too many tanks. The arrows are basically tickles on those Alistar.
Yeah.
Just you could hear the shouts behind us right now. Kwangdong Freecs running up. Sentinels hitting us with the let's go.
Who is it? I think it's Maru on stage who's just got this booming voice that we can hear every time they team fight. shouting out on the opposite side, Sentinels, this is a huge game for them. Rest, Beginnings, MTS, the core of this team have been on the international stage before. A North American team led by them has never made it out of the groups. They have played international in multiple different mobile esports, played very well, never been able to take wins off of the Asian teams. This is their chance.
Yeah, exactly right. This is exactly why it's so exciting. Everybody's so excited. I believe we do have like a sneak peek, like a video of the casters getting really, really excited from what I've heard. Let's check that out. The Atlas Desk. It's us. It's us, by the way.
Yeah, it is us. Kankus as well.
Oh my gosh. It is
that
crazy.
is you. That is you losing your mind.
It's
Steve
so
Kangas
intense.
is, by the way, play-by-playing those games.
Yeah.
That was the win moment. We realized we had to go on. Steve Kangas is still sitting exactly there in front of the Coca-Cola fridge.
I love it right here. I think Kwangdong Freecs behind us just said, let's go, and then Sentinels just yelled, let's go 3 times right back louder while we're watching this replay here. And again, the job won't be done either way, right? The Freecs and Sentinels, whoever
This is
wins,
to stay alive.
will have to play Liberty to make it out of groups. But again, let's get a series win here for either one of these squads. You guys, gotta ask you, y'all willing to come on back? Have some hopium here for the NA squad, back to the WNS, the squad that we've covered and work in, TJ?
I'll tell you what, you know where my heart is. You know, you saw on the screen where my heart is. But in the brain, I have to believe in Maru. I have to believe that KDF are going to come back. That's my analytical brain talking. But my heart, yes, I believe Rafa. Yes, I think that.
All right, we just got cursed. All right, who do you got?
I'm sorry, I'm still sticking with
Oh,
Kwangdong Freecs.
my
I mean, I'm
goodness.
loving this series, but I feel like
It's
at
a good
the end,
series.
it is such an amazing series. So exciting, but I feel like KDF's still going to come on top.
Very interested to see if Sentinels will continue to double down in this late game team fighting composition, or will they change it on up? Because we know Kwangdong Freecs, this is the play style they've opted into over and over again. Game number 3, elimination time. One team goes home after this one. Will it be the Freecs or will it be Sentinels? It all starts with the draft.
I'm so curious to see, because I feel like Ziggs is a very important pick for not only Kwangdong Freecs, but also for Sentinels. We saw how they prioritized that earlier in game number 2, and I felt like that while it wasn't entirely the reason why they won that game, but it felt like it helped them match or give a lot of damage output when it was needed.
Our first 2 bans, though, are what we've seen all series long. Karma, Camille, must bans against the opposing teams. Very well-researched bans. Here's a new one, though. Wukong banned out. It is an anti-type ban. It is a we didn't like it when he did that ban.
Someone
so
else
true.
beat us, ban.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of respect on that Wukong. Ty did amazing with that early game. And the fact that you can switch it up jungle and top.
Maru's Riven gets banned out again. As we've seen, though, with the Akali, there's an infinite number of things Maru can play.
Wow!
The Shen removed a crutch Sentinels have been using in their side lane. It has enabled MTS to macro very effectively. That won't be here for them.
I like this very much from KDF because it prevents you from picking what? An
Wow.
Olaf, but Ziggs! We talked about this before.
When that ban came out, the Sentinels players behind us screamed. Rest delighted that Ziggs had been banned, that he had drawn a ban with that pick.
It makes me wonder now because Senna can be your next go-to. It's not as explosive as a Varus. It's not explosive as a Ziggs, but I feel like it creates that safety or aggression if you pair it with a set at the bottom lane.
I kind of want to see Rest's Ashe here. He plays a very good Ashe. and
Acrobat too!
I think that would give him them the kind of engage they want.
Yes.
Start some fights very well. Be good in these late game team fights.
I remember while watching the KDF versus RY roster, when Acrobat would pick Ashe, the casters would like, ah, finally, it's unleashed. So we'll see now Kha'Zix though for Tyve.
Yeah, this is a very cool pick because it gives Sentinels that late game assassination potential. It also means Zeki not going to get one of their favorite characters.
Alistair getting locked on in for Beg one more time. He's back.
back.
Playing
Cowbell.
Again, could have gone with the Galio, goes with the Alistair here. Let's see what the response is by Kwangdong Freecs, but they did take a decent amount of time there, did Sentinels, thinking about it.
I think it's really good that the Alistar is there, right? Because not only do you have engage, but it also if KDF wants to get into your carries, just push them back, basically. But this is now the Sen and Nasus.
Wow.
Back to basics, back to classics, just as we talked about. No zigs. Varus didn't work out too well for Acrobat, so let's just get the next big thing.
Get some coffee. We're not just gaming past midnight, we're gaming past 2 a.m. at this rate. This is the latest game composition that could be set up for by KDF, and Sentinels are matching it.
Yeah, and the main reason why you pull that out is because, hey, you know, if my bot laner is not really landing any damage, you know what helps? Extra range and extra damage with clicking. All you gotta do is click, and there it is, or tap. And all you gotta do there with Senna, tap on it.
And I will note, Sentinels go back to the bread and butter. I asked for the Ashe. It's one of Rest's other favorite picks, this Lux, which did not look good in game number 1.
It looks bad.
Did not look like it was set up for success. Here's the difference. We do have this Alistair kind of online after that last game. Does Beginnings' return to form maybe herald the same for Rest? Can the confidence boost set up for those combos that they were missing? It's all about the final sparks.
Yeah, exactly right. Game number 2 set the tone. Game number 2 put them back on track, gain that confidence, just as you mentioned. So this is going to be a bit tricky because you see a Lux, but you see a Singed and a Nasus at the other side for KDF. That means you have range, that means you have hold, that means KDF may have an issue reaching the Lux later on.
Bans from Sentinels burning through Maru's pool. It's Fiora, then Renekton, not giving Maru anything to play with. They'll also have the first pick out of this, which will go to MTS, presumably, continuing to narrow that pool. KDF know this, so they ban out 2 of MTS's best characters. The top lane pool, very small.
There is still Aurelia, TJ. I feel like Aurelia could be the angle that Maru can take.
I don't know if I've ever seen MTS play Aurelia.
That is true.
So Darius, Akali is still on up here, so there are things to be played. Aurelia, unless we
it's
go
a top lane
crazy.
backed up.
Aurelia for Maru, I feel like.
Yeah, there it is, the Darius. That's what I figured. We've seen a lot of that in the WNS, so going to something where MTS can hold lane.
Pretty good matchup into the Aurelia and the Akali, if that's what's going on, because both those characters rely on mobility. Darius can interrupt it. The Akali in particular, you can pull her out of the smoke veil. You can decimate her in the smoke veil. So Maru got some choices to make. The other lock-in that needs to happen here is the jungle for KDF. We'll see that first. This needs to be an assassin for Maru, otherwise they do not have backline access. The Olaf has to walk in front to back.
I know this is probably a long shot, but we've seen Zed tops before in the WRL.
Really, Riku?
I know we're digging deep because the jungle pool is so constricted. At the top of my head, either it's Aurelia, Akali back again for Maru, or the possible Zed top. It is going to be Akali this time again.
The top lane bathtub yields an Akali. And the last pick for Sentinels, still to come, their mid laner. For Mali, one of the heroes of this team, the Zoomer they recruited, when the old men, the veterans on this team, felt they needed some firepower.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's made a couple of positioning mistakes, but has dished out a decent amount of damage. Corki's still on up, something that he's played earlier. Diana, still an opportunity. Orianna! So Molly flexing the champ who are here and played 3 different champions.
Full faith in Tybe is what that means. You are going to have that bug carrying your ball into the team fight, and you are praying that he gets it in good position, gets you access to the Senna, lets you disable that front line, and come late game, that Orianna will be the highest damage character on the map, bar none, in a long team fight.
One word, how do you feel about this?
Exciting, I know, pretty basic.
That's so many words.
I
Rick.
know!
Too many words. TJ, one word.
Good.
All right, there you go. Better than me. Nervous. Let's send it on over to the casters to get into our final game of the evening. One team goes home. Will it be Korea? Will it be North America? Let's find out. Rafa and Omo, one word. How you feel?
What's your word, Omo?
I'm trying to think of one, but anxious, I guess. Anxious would be the word for both of these teams.
You know what? For me, it's confidence.
Okay.
I saw Tybe play forward the best game so far on the international stage on that Wukong, and he's going to Kha'Zix. Yes, this isn't a champion that he made a name for himself early on, but it is a pick that if you want to go back and dig deep into the histories, when Tribe were at the top of their game in year 0 at NA, Kha'Zix was one of the champions that Tybe took down Tribe in a community tournament and almost dethroned Tribe from the Kings of the Table back on NME. But Sentinels, it's going to be more that they have to dig deep. You are talking about dethroning and taking down one of the best team fighting teams, not just in Korea, but in the world. But if you can do that, Sentinels will have gained and rewarded themselves with North America's first ever international series victory.
And that is huge for North America. That is huge for the Sentinels. And no doubt, the pressure is also on the Kwangdong Freecs, who want to keep their tournament life alive. Keep in mind how the WCK did at the Horizon Cup, with Roaster Y representing their region so very well, going up to the top 4. KDF, they played a full 7-game series against Roaster Y to qualify to the Icons Global Championship. This is not a bad team. This is a really good team. This is one of the best that Korea has. And Sentinels are pushing them to the limit.
And Kwangdong Freecs, they know that they were so close to being the #1 seed for Korea instead of Roaster Y. For them to have tried so hard.
And got so far.
They don't want to be the one that goes home either. And one thing that you have to always be cautious about, if you're a team that is coming back from a reverse sweep, yes, you have the momentum on your side, but it doesn't mean that you can count out Kwangdong Freecs.
Yes. You can't rest on your laurels here. The series is not over.
Correct.
But the good news is, the Sentinels do have a pretty good win condition this game. There's a lot of scaling. There's a lot of strong, easy team fighting tools. Orianna, Shockwave, locks, bindings, shielding, Alistair combo, reset potential from Darius, reset potential from Kha'Zix. Sentinels could very well do it, but KDF, they've gone back to basics. They've got a lot of scaling too.
Exhaust.
Oh,
Flip.
there we go.
And there is the play. Kwangdong Freecs
No
looking to
acrobat.
answer, but Molly,
No,
does he get out alive? He got the speed boost. He dodges out on Korea's first move and trying to shut down Sentinels in the early game.
And Acrobat did not start with his W. He did not start with the root. Now Maru might be dead as well.
I don't think Tybe is going to flash for it.
I think he does.
Oh, but on the other side, Zeki hit level 5 thanks to counter-jungling all of the camps from Tybe to the blue side, catching out Beginnings, and that's first blood for Korea.
Beginnings gets taken down. That's the Alistair gone. That's the first blood to Zeki as well. The Zoloft is such a big part of the KDF team comp, such a big part of the early team fighting. Think about how the KDF want to play this game out. Maru's going to come from a flank angle, but you've got Sentinels behind you as your Singed and your Olaf run into the faces of Sentinels. So for that to happen, you need your Olaf to be strong, and he's off to a good start.
When Analyst Desk was talking about how important it was for Tybe to pop off, you have to look on the other side. Tybe having great laurels of success in Game 2, but Zeki, one of the best Korean junglers that WCK has to offer. And if he is getting accelerated on the Olaf early, something that Tybe was not able to do in Game 1, then Sentinels are going to be in a world of trouble.
And Tybe is playing a much more difficult jungle matchup this time around. Wukong, he looked very practiced on it. He was very clean on it, to his credit. But it has a much simpler play pattern than a Kha'Zix, which needs to be slippery, which needs to be mechanically on point. Let's see if this guy subbing in for Sentinels, if Tybe can do it here.
Molly potentially fishing for a shockwave here. There it goes, and they know that Kwai doesn't have flash from before. It's an easy pickup here for Sentinels, punishing on the lack of summoner spells from KDF.
That is huge. Yeah, not only Kwai, everyone on the side of KDF has no flashes up. They've expended everything trying to make early game plays. The good news is it will be up for the 5-minute objective spawn, but that does cost Shelly his life. Now they want Molly, but just exhausts you and walks away.
Kwangdong making sure to establish presence and control of the map. We're 40 seconds away from the first 2 objectives on the Rift here almost.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Both of these teams' comms want to fight. Both of these team comms can fight, can scale, can trade. And given how the series has gone, given how the nature of these two teams seem to be playing out here, I feel like we might see the first spawn of objectives just be traded away. Your backs are against the wall here. This is your tournament life on the line. You don't want to flip it for the dragon, do you?
Sentinels, seems like that is the objective they want. They find a target here. Final Spark does connect. A lot of Durst damage on to Noth, but he's a giant Nasus.
He had the shockwave. I'm not sure if it was up there, but Molly didn't mid, the shockwave, that should still be enough for the KDF squad to pick up this Dragon Dome.
Zeki has this Glasgow. He can get in.
Wanna go for
3,000
it.
HP. He has vision. Can Tide secure this Dragon away? Zeki comes in, but it is secured by Molly out of all people. Now Sentinels, can they turn this fight around? Zeki is forced to flash away, but he's got nowhere else to run. Ragnarok cannot allow you to go through walls.
Maru!
But Maru, can he come in and be the savior? Already finds one assassination on the beginnings. Looking for another one on
goes in.
MTS. Perfect execution.
Maru!
Gonna get the strike. Acrobat committing forward, but MTS still manages to get out alive. But it is Molly that is left to the Wolves of Korea. And Kwangdong Freecs not going down without a fight.
And Kwangdong Freecs strike back. You lose Zeki, you lose the Dragon. But what a heroic performance from Maru. Not just in this game, but in the last game as well. When it comes time to be clutch, his Akali has been clutch.
Finding the key targets in this fight. If you take a look back at the replay, Zeki was in there early. Not
Zeki
enough.
was trying to steal it away, and with the reckless swings, you would think he could. But at the end, it was neither jungler to cut
Back
it.
into it.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's gotta be the
gone.
Rift Herald.
KDF now have control of the Rift Herald. Oh, Tide's in there. I've seen he steal these before,
Oh,
but it
no.
is Zeki that clutches it out. A little too early on the smite from Tide. Good attempt, gets out with the leap. No harm, no foul, but Kwangdong Freecs edge out.
Neck and neck game so far between the Kwangdong Freecs and Sentinels. I think it's time to talk about the scaling. I feel like both of these teams have insane scaling, honestly. Sentinels, we know how well that combo does in mid to late game team fights. We know what Maru's Akali can do if you give him the resources. On the side of Sentinels, though, I feel like it's all about the Orianna, it's all about the Lux, the healing, the shielding. Well, no healing, but the shielding. And the AoE team fighting tools are gonna be huge here. Both teams have decent scaling. Really comes down to execution, I think.
Yes, perfect execution, one might add.
Yeah.
Sentinels here. This back line has the potential to absolutely blow up multiple members of Kwangdong Freecs. The later the game goes on, Shockwave and Final Spark can do so much AoE damage. The problem is that their damage, it is localized. It is dependent on hitting skill shots, whereas Maru, he is the one that is diving into the back lines. And if he connects, he will rip them apart.
Well, this is gonna be a fight here. Beginnings goes in.
Sentinel, oh, he was rooted up, but he still connects for the knockup, and it forces Zeki's Ragnarok.
Oh,
Major
man.
tool used.
Good news for KDF. No objectives to fight for. They can just back away for this one. But Tide once more.
He's poking them down. Zeki no longer has access to Ragnarok, but he is caught off by Noth here. Tide has flash available. He's gonna have to use it to get out of this one.
This game is neck and neck right now. Both teams trading resources. Both teams not wanting to give anything up. Frankly, Rafa, I expected both teams to play more conservatively considering the stakes of this one.
Hell no.
Hell no, both teams are going for it.
That's right. You can't play scared anymore. It's what got you into this part of the bracket. You have to play with confidence if you want to be the ones claiming and fighting for a chance to be the second seed out of Group D, where Liberty is awaiting their opponent, watching from the hotel, getting ready to prepare and study which opponent they have to face tomorrow.
And I can't help but feel like both of these teams would consider Liberty a beatable opponent as well. It's not a WRL team, it's not a WCS team. If you win this matchup, you could just make it to groups. I mean, one step at a time, right? But so much rests on this game here.
Brazil fans might come for you after
I said that
one.
Liberty were gonna win, to be fair. But it's not an unwinnable matchup for either one of these teams. That's what makes it exciting. This bracket has such high stakes here.
If we've learned anything from this Icons tournament, that anything is possible. Any team is beatable. No matter what the percentages are, you can see the unthinkable happen.
Oh, nice foot-about answer from MTS to get out of that one.
Oh,
one
Cole,
more.
Apprehend right onto Zeki. He's forced to pull Ragnarok once again.
Not
This
just
Rift Herald,
that. The Dawning Shadows and Exhaust was used as well.
a lot of resources just to try to take down MTS. And I think the analyst has pointed out well, especially TJ. MTS, one of these characters, one of these players that has a long history. Hold that, beginnings. Forced to use the ultimate so he doesn't go down to Maru. Oh, but he might have put himself in a bad spot.
Maru's clean with it.
Oh, man. That was close.
He burns everything, but he gets out with his life.
You can see Molly was waiting on the shockwave and thought that he had finally clipped enough time for Maru before he could get out with perfect execution, but it was just milliseconds that he escapes.
So very close there, and now so close to the second set of objective spawns as well. KDF have the inside track, but Sentinels have more members that are coming to play. Oh, they're gonna get Rest!
Oh, the flip. Rest is all isolated, but he gets out. Lightbinding stops it in its tracks. Final Spark is traded back, but Beginnings, a major frontliner piece for Sentinels, is lost. 5-on-4 advantage for Kwangdong Freecs. They have advantageous positioning now.
Look at
in
Maru!
The Dragon Pit. Oh, but they put out Noth. He's forced to flash away, and Maru's waiting on the flank once again. We've seen it how it can completely destroy a team. Rest
the
still
Twin
has
Shadows.
Flash and Exhaust available. Looking for sure backflip doesn't connect here.
This is so intense, the flip!
Shockwave from Molly! That's huge! A lot of burst damage down. Sentinels, can they capitalize? Can they burn down the dragon? Zeki forced to turn back onto the dragon, but it is still him that secures
Maru!
it. But Maru finds a huge burst damage, but not onto the long run. And in time, looking to clean up the stragglers here for Kwangdong Freecs. Infernal Dragon clutch.
Oh, look at Tybe, look at
Tybe.
Tybe!
KDF, but now Tybe is looking to cut them off here. He's got the health, he's got the
They're
shield,
dead!
and a huge life binding from Rest. Finds the last two stragglers for a prime
Gaming!
ace!
Sentinels have done it! They lost the dragon, but they get the ace! They take out the Kwangdong Freecs! But Rafa, you look at the gold and you realize it's still even.
It's not over yet, but we
It's
take a look
not,
back at the
it's
replay.
not.
How chaotic was this fight?
They get the flip down, but that forces your team into a choke. You are funneled together. The shockwave pulls you in, and even though Maru once again pulls off a valiant, heroic attempt, it's not quite enough. There's no follow-up.
And you can see just how back and forth they are. The shockwaves, you think that's game ending, but then you remember Sentinels only had 4 members. Beginnings had died previously in the lead up to the fight, so he wasn't there to follow up. Teleported in. Maru answers back with his own perfect execution, takes 2 members out. It is just so neck and neck right now. Sentinels and Kwangdong Freecs, neither team has the overall advantage yet.
Sentinels have pulled ahead to a gold lead. They've taken some turrets. And that's gonna be Sentinels just getting what they won, backing away. And they're in a good spot. They gotta feel comfortable right now, and they have some scaling on their side too. The Orianna, the Lux, the simple team fighting tools that we always talked about are in the pockets of the Sentinel squad.
And look at, I just want to point something out. I don't often look at itemization, but MTS, instead of buying
Love
into
that.
the Hull Breaker,
Yeah.
he goes not only for pure damage in the Trinity Force first item, but he also goes for an immediate force of nature, recognizing that the major players of this game from Kwangdong Freecs is Maru on this Akali. If he can withstand the burst, he can win the extended fight.
He knows he's not killing any tanks this game. He's not playing against a Shen. He's not playing against a Garen. He's killing squishies. The Triforce is great for that. And the Force of Nature, of course, you're playing against Triple, Magic, Team Comp, Akali, Singed, and Nasus. Fantastic itemization from MTS. It's serving him well so far.
As long as he can stay alive, as he can walk up as a pseudo frontline, that gives so much room to breathe for both Molly and Rest to pump out major burst damage. This Rift Herald will even get a charge out. It's going to be close. Oh, but can they bait the fate out? Shockwave connects once again. Wire gets out with the skin of his teeth now. Sentinels still trying to see if they can follow up on this engage. Light binding not going to connect. Still 2 cannon minions, but Kwangdong Freecs holding on to this tower.
They are still trying to siege this, but they're not gonna get anything from that. They just force some bases, force some spells, but KDF will get away with their life. And you look at the game state, the entire early mid-game, KDF had the lead, but that last team fight over the Infernal Dragon swung it right back around to Sentinels. And frankly,
Good pull. Maru has perfect
he's good,
execution. He's going to use it to escape now. That's a great force out of it. Oh, Maru.
bit greedy there.
Maru.
The
was trying to get fancy with it. A huge play, but it goes awry. Forced to flash away.
Maru is trying to do too much right now, and can you blame him, Rafa? You look at the last 2 games, or rather this game, last game, he's been trying to put his team on his back. That's gonna be a tier 2 here for Sentinels.
The tier 1. Oh, Zeki, has he found Molly onto the backside? He's rooted off.
Yes.
There's no Shen shield this time, but it's Beginnings looking for the flank. Zeki Zeki gets out alive. Acrobat was forced to flash. Tybe looking to punish. Popping the stealth, but it's Choir here to prevent any members of Sentinels from catching up with Zeki.
That's gonna be just one kill onto Marley, a little bit of gold into the pockets of Zeki, but that's not anything significant. We've talked about this. You get the kill, but then what? You get nothing out of it. And to add insult to injury, you lose your top tier 2 turret as well. Sentinels are starting to run away with this game. I guess you could say the consolation prize though is 3 items here on the Nasus, the Akali, and the Olaf. These are gonna be the big players to look out for in the next team fight.
In 25 seconds, Omo.
Yeah.
It is the Elder
Oh,
Dragon spawning.
Time flies, Rafa. This is the 3rd Elder Dragon we've seen in this series. This game, it's been so intense. 16 kills in 16 minutes. Not a lot, but a lot for this series.
Fans from the WCK, fans from the WNS, all watch with mouths open, with eyes glued to their screens, waiting to see what will be the outcome.
Man, it's so intense right now. Both of these teams neck and neck, posturing for the Elder Dragon that will decide this game, that will decide the series, that will decide who goes to groups.
Tybe looking for poke. Zeki pops the Ragnarok. Beginnings goes in, punts Acrobat away. Shockwave connects only onto one. The rest of Sentinels still posturing backwards, but Beginnings seems to have fallen to Kwangdong Freecs. Numbers advantage gained for Kwangdong Freecs now. Damage has been put down onto Acrobat and Zeki. Can Tybe fish for stragglers right now? Maru looking for a flank of some sort. Tybe now posturing, inching forward, pushing Kwangdong Freecs back. As long as they can stall time for Beginnings, he
Maru
can come
again.
back. Maru once again with the flank. Sentinels, you have to wonder, oh, Shuriken backflip, it connects. Can they punish? But Stasis catches it out. Light Binding is dodged out. Maru looking for it. Tybe, Shockwave connects onto 3, but MTS is burned down to a
They're
crisp.
so low.
And now Maru, will he take the Shuriken backflip overtime? He's gonna go
He's
for
going
it, Molly, but the exhaust, Stasis, Tybe jumping in to punish Maru. They take him out the...
No, they should
Akali
have
is
finished the
gone.
dragon.
Oh, Tybe goes in, 1v3. Can they punish? Light Binding is huge, but Tybe is burning down the slows. But Kwangdong Freecs, they're so low. Sentinels have to clean up. They have to punish now. This is their time. Tybe has the GA. He spawns back. He fights 1. He fights 2. Sentinels have taken out 4, and that could be the Elder.
They've taken out 4 and they don't want the Elder.
What?
They want the Baron, I think. They've got their sights set on that one. And I think they can do it, but they're so low. It's so dangerous. Let's take a look at his team fight. Maru.
That's the Elder. Go to the Elder.
I think so too,
Please.
Rafa. I think so too. Maru tries to go for the heroics. So low on everyone on the side of the Kwangdong Freecs. That shockwave was massive. They've got to get the Baron here in the picture-in-picture. And Maru, he tries to go for the heroics again, but he tries too hard. And the rest of KDF as well. You could have finished the Elder, but they try to save Maru.
Okay, well, I'm going to believe that Sentinels are doing the right thing.
They know what they're doing, Rafa. They've gotten this far.
We'll have to find out and see, I guess.
A look of disbelief in the
Here's-
face of Rafa. Oh my
With
god.
Max celebrating with Max screen. It's not over yet.
You love
But they
to see
seem
it.
to have major positional advantage. And with the Baron buff, MTS now can put pressure. And it seems that Kwangdong Freecs just, even with time to spawn. Wow.
5.6 thousand
I
damage
am
in time.
sorry for doubting you, Sentinels.
Yeah. They get the Baron, they get the Elder. A 3,000 gold lead, nothing significant, but wow, Sentinels.
The game is not over yet. Sentinels have to close this game out cleanly. The execution cannot leave any room for errors. Kwangdong Freecs still have a chance to get into this game. Tybe is deep into enemy lines. He can jump without any fear at this point.
Oh,
Baron
no,
of
the
minions,
KDF
pounding
squad.
away at the Nexus, pounding away. Tybe jumping forward once again. Sentinels, 5 members strong here, looking to corral Kwangdong Freecs through the top side of this lane. And exhaust goes out onto Molly, slows him down. Watch for the ball, watch for the
Shell is dead.
shockwave. It comes in. That's the first reset onto Choir. Kwangdong Freecs watching from afar. And their chances be salvaged, but Sentinels, this is NA's hopes on the line. Do you believe? I've always believed Sentinels close this game out. Maru
Sentinels a rematch with Liberty, with a ticket to group stages on the line, Rafa. It's all come down to this. Think about what Sentinels have done here today. The first international win for North America. I know you're enjoying this one, Rafa. Soak it in. The players, the fans, the coaches, the talent here. Everyone, soak in this moment for a second. Think about what Sentinels have done here. The first win for North America. And taking down the number 2 seed from the WCK to get that rematch against Liberty. And what a way to win as well. A reverse sweep. They never lost their mental. They never lost their nerve. Sentinels have done it, Rafa.
Rest, beginnings, Molly, MTS, time to come in to substitute for Sheesh, a star jungler, to step up to the biggest plate, to the biggest stage. It's no small task to ask, but they have done it. They keep NA's dreams alive. And now it is a rematch against Liberty, the Brazilian powerhouse that sent them to the lower bracket in the first place. The road is not over for them, but it's a hell of a way to start with their first international series win and against one of the best team fighting teams in the world.
And what a way to win it too. They out-team fought the Kwangdong Freecs. You just out-team fought one of the best team fighting teams in the world. You gotta feel proud of that one.
My heart is overwhelmed.
Look, I'm not even an NA fan, Rafa, and I feel the chills from that win. Soak it in. Let this moment sink in.
I know it's not over,
It's
but
not,
the implications for this, the expectations that we had for this squad, and the difficulties they had to go through. It was a tough series loss against Liberty, and a well-deserved one to the Brazilian squad. They played better than Sentinels on that day, but for them to rise up against Korea, remember last year against Rolster Y, that was one of the top 4 teams. By the end of Horizon Cup, Korea is not a region to be slept on, and the fact that Sentinels pull that out shows the growth that North America has gone through. And obviously, you don't want to hear from me and Oma anymore. We've got 2 other NA fans on the desk to celebrate this win for Sentinels.
I'd say 3, but you know, I think we've converted one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good job!
I was with like the NA viewing party crew at the desk and was like, yeah!
Just Rafa, I think encapsulates, I guess I'm feeling the same way as well as a North American esports fan. You just don't get moments like this
That's a dub.
that often, right?
And I think it does go like to the heart of what Rafa was saying for North America after last year at the Horizon Cup, where everything went wrong, where Tribe underperformed their own expectations vastly, where things went wrong on stage for them. To come back to North America, all of those teams sat down, Rest at the forefront of them. This team, if you remember back to WNS Season 0, this team, led by Rest, MTS and Beginnings, was bottom of the pack. They did not perform well, and during the off-season, as they watched our international representatives get destroyed, they were the team that started grinding, rebuilding their team around their new players. And here on this stage, they've delivered a tremendous upset over KDF, who, as you can see, are devastated. That was the miracle they needed to stay alive.
And I think in these moments of elimination, you get to see how close you are to elation or devastation, and in how much it means to it, and again, the growth of our esport here in its first season, what it means to have elimination games, and what it means to a whole region to win or lose.
We knew when we got this group that it was very likely you would need at least one upset to get out of it. If you're either Liberty or Sentinels, you have to beat KDF to get out of the group. That was the stakes. And they just did the hard part, coming in.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, Liberty also got the upset.
TJ, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on Liberty. We're gonna wait on Liberty.
So?
We're gonna no. We're gonna wait on Liberty. Also, let's bring Riku in here because you and I have been fanboying a lot.
Yeah, because I want to chime in as well because you.
No, North America time.
yeah, because exactly right. Because when we look back at the Horizon Cup, we talked about the gap. We talked about how Korea was such a menacing region, was especially when we looked at knockouts, but icons in general now, Sentinels getting this win over Kwangdong Freecs means that before the gap was very obvious. It was very big, and now it feels like that gap is slowly going closer and closer.
And what a disappointment for KDF, right? Because they have those same kind of crushing expectations coming in.
True.
Korea is a region that historically dominant across all esports, did very well at the Horizon Cup, didn't win, but they were in the conversation. They were one of our expected favorites. And for KDF to come here and not only to lose in play-ins, but also as the second place Korean team to go down in an upset, the first ever international win for North America, that is falling very far short of expectations.
Again, taking a look at some of these fights that this last game broke out here, and this was the long one, and I think the closest one that we had around the Dragon, where Maru just constantly landing shuriken after shuriken, and that was one of those, the long distance one I think is the one that he'll probably want to take back, where he took it all the way back to mid tower and put his team under large duress, and Tybe buying a ton of time on the Kazakhs with the Orianna, getting the shielding back, getting the cleanup, and then saying, Drake, let's take Baron and take control of this game.
What a series from Maru.
I know. It was such a crazy performance from Maru. But when I look at game number 3, where Sentinels, we saw
Coach Pierce.
so much emotions there, so many emotions, and very understandable. Such a huge event right now, and I want to talk about the focus where Rest was hitting every single binding. It all count. Molly with all the humongous shockwaves, and the fact that they were all keeping an eye out on Maru. They bought Twin Shadows. They weren't going all in just yet until they knew where everyone was at from Kwangdong. And I feel like that's an amazing thing to do in team fights against Kwangdong.
Yeah. What a series from Maru, who single-handedly made the entirety of Sentinels revolve around him.
Yes.
And Sentinels made the adjustment. They responded. Game number 3, Rest looked completely different on his character from game number 1. Everyone did.
Yes.
Tybe, the rookie, here on this stage, his first ever international stage, was jumping in aggressively, finding the big plays, the aggression that Sentinels were lacking in game number 1 in order to earn that gold chart swing. Because lest we forget, KDF started that game strong.
That's true. I also want to add in, MTS kept Maru in check during the laning phase. I love that Darius pick. And they knew what was coming. They knew that was going to be an Akali. And then everyone, just as you said, TJ, everyone did amazing in Sentinels.
Yeah, take a peek there. Molly with several huge shockwaves. Again, not necessarily always getting the kills, but getting everyone low enough to allow Tybe to get the resets, to create enough chaos for Rest to land the bindings. Yeah, I'm just, it's overcome with emotion right now. And, just a little history lesson. The last time that a North American team beat Korea in League of Legends PC, same franchise, Cloud9 defeated a Freak of Freaks at that time. Another one in the books here in our new game here for the new chapter of Wild Rift. It's Sentinels defeating Kwangdong Freecs here. So history kind of repeats itself.
Yeah, it certainly adds to the legacy. It's moments like this where I'm very happy to be watching some esports.
Definitely. I just want to say lastly that this is going to be a huge confidence boost for Sentinels when they go up against Liberty. I mean, they got that upset, and I'm sure they're excited for that revenge match.
What a game we have to look forward to there. These brackets are done.
It is wild that you just have to be able to live in today
tomorrow.
And wake up tomorrow and get to it. Liberty awaiting after they had their series against Burium United. But man, it is late here.
1:30 a.m. in Singapore.
Time check.
But I hope that Sentinels take the time to celebrate all of them, all the players, Max Green coming into sub, and then how about that for Coach Pierce, who's been with this squad, leading the way, and then selecting the draft to build around Tybe, your substitute jungler, and allowing the rest of the team, empowering the rest of the team to come on in.
When they got the Baron, we were all standing there. I don't think there's any way for us to get the audio, unfortunately, but we're standing over here, like a long way away from where the coach is, kind of very far behind us that way. And we hear, "We got the Baron!" Screams. And that's when we cut to the shot of him picking up Max Green inside the player room. "We got the Baron, dude!" Pierce cannot believe it.
Yeah, Again, just as a North American fan, I'm empathizing with Rafa, I'm empathizing with everyone that's ever watched WNS. This is what this moment was for. And again, job's not done, but to get the first step like really out of the way finally against a WCK team, against a Korean-backed team, like that is...
Can I be the awful person everyone knows I am?
Oh.
The other thing to look at here is T1, now KDF. Korea is struggling at this event. This is not only a very important victory for North America, but a wake-up call, I think, for Korea. Because they came into this event as expected favorites, as expected contenders for the title, and it has become apparent that this late-game style is vulnerable to good team fighting. And every single time it has been challenged by good team fighting teams, they have managed to claw out these ridiculous wins, and that is not what anyone expected coming in.
No, definitely not. But one person that might have expected it is the man standing by with Kangas, so let's take a listen with one of our Victoria Sentinel members.
Thanks, Degon. I'm here with Molly, the victorious mid laner from Sentinels. I'm throwing these out, and I'm going to pretend like I wrote any questions. I was too busy screaming my head off during that series, and I know it's cliche to ask, but I got to start. What does it feel like knowing that you are the first North American team to win an international series?
It feels great. I think today we really brought the energy up compared to the Liberty series, so it feels really, really good to really actually perform, and it feels like we actually played our own game, so it feels really good to actually win.
I mean, we could tell that there was something different about this Sentinels. Game one, you were trying new things, you were going for more aggressive plays, and then game two, a switch just flipped. What was going on behind the scenes? Was this just like the team realizing we need more energy, we need a different approach? What was going on?
Honestly, game one, we all knew we should have won that game if we just had a little more energy and played more as a team. So when we did get off the stage, Pierce, our coach, talked to us and kind of hyped us up a little more. He told us that we were 100% winning that game and we should have won if we just kept the energy up and played our own game.
Sure,
So
sure.
that really helped us. And we did a lot of chants and team building stuff to really hype us up before that game.
Now, you are one of the newer additions to the team, coming in at the beginning of this year for Sentinels. There's a lot of hype around you in North America as a player, as an individual. How do you feel about your own performance now after picking up the first international win here as the newer addition to the team?
I definitely think I performed well, but I think really our whole team played incredible. Tybe, MTS, Ras, Speg, they all did an amazing job, and they all did their jobs. The communication was great. We played so well as a team. And
I'm happy you bring up Tybe as well, because he's subbing in for the team. Sheesh wasn't able to make it. So what was it like getting Tybe on board with everybody else, and maybe some of the growing pains you experienced, but then also hyping up the success of those last two games, because he was playing on fire?
Yeah. It was definitely kind of hard to transition from Sheesh to Tybe, because Tybe was originally on enemy. He has a very aggressive play style, and I think in the past we kind of played a little slower and played around objectives and stuff. So we definitely did have a little trouble bringing Tybe into the team. But I think after a few weeks of scrims, we talked to him a lot and worked with him a lot, and he's gone a lot better with playing with our team.
Well, I mean, I think that the team will need to all play better, all play on the same page for your next match up against Liberty. You get the rematch. Brazil's a region that we've not had the best success against in the past internationally, even looking back at Horizon Cup with Tribe versus TSM. So what are your messages to the fans, your thoughts about that match? What should we expect from Sentinels versus Liberty round two?
We're definitely more prepared. We have a lot more energy coming into this match, so they should definitely be watching out.
All right, you heard that, Liberty. You heard that, Brazilian fans, from Ollie himself. Thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations on the win. Degon, back to you.
Thank you very much, Kangas, and I like the conversation there, working with Tybe, trying to figure out the aggression and compared to what they were used to playing here, TJ.
Yeah, I think we saw a distinct change when they got that pep talk from Pierce between game number 1 and game number 2. where game number 1, they had an advantage, and Sentinels didn't know how to press it. And then Riku, we were noticing much more aggression in the jungle in game 3.
Yeah, I love that strategy, right? When you're in the lead, how do you further that lead even more, increase that gap by, just as you mentioned, getting that jungle camps, getting more towers, being more extra aggressive and confident. And I like, what Molly said about having more energy. It's very important in these long-drawn fights against Korea who like to take you at 20 minutes. It is definitely the key.
Yeah, definitely there. All right. Everyone take a deep breath because we got more matches
Tomorrow?
That's right. Tomorrow.
Today,
we're closing out
G-Gon.
week number 1. It's tomorrow for almost everywhere else. All right, yeah.
That's
True.
Today!
18,
Later.
16 hours, however many, math on broadcast, not so good. All right, we'll be back for more elimination matches. 4 of them, and only 4 teams will be remaining. It'll be Flash Wolves versus Game Lords, and RRQ versus USG.
Ooh.
Then T1 trying to bounce back here for Korea against
Ooh.
Freecs.
Yeah.
And then the big one, Liberty versus Sentinels.
Woo!
Which one jumps out of you?
Oh my God. It's so hard, right? Like every single match.
Yeah, let's say we can't pick Sentinels, you can't pick RRQ.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. T1. The T1 versus Freecs match, a rematch. I think that's going to be very exciting.
That's very good. That feels like the last chance for Korea,
Yep,
except
exactly,
for roster and
right?
groups. Can I pick the RRQ match?
Sure.
Easy.
All right.
RRQ.
Easy. There it is. All right, y'all. What a day of matches it is. Sentinels get to live one more day. Will they be able to make it into groups and be the first team in North America to make it into groups? We'll find out tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew here for Wild Rift. We'd like to say thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Icons action. Go NA, baby. Woo!